Tears glistened in Albert's eyes. The spider woman who had tortured him for days and was like the devil incarnate finally died. He was finally freed and was surprised and relieved. "Thank you, Mr. Sue." Albert bowed deeply, a grateful smile on his joyful and tired face. Corresponding, the extremely furious English people collectively bombarded Albert at this time. They cursed Albert with all kinds of vicious words. Even the Grey family, to which Albert belonged, was not spared. This is a C+ level partner, and among the players in the marriage game, only Albert has won. Isn't it just that he is a little cruel and has a weird temper, and he always likes to torture you for fun? What's so intolerable about this? With Ms. Darachan here, your life will be kept safe to a great extent. But you, Albert, don't know how lucky you are. Misfortunes never come alone. Blessings never come in pairs. At this moment, the announcement of the matchmaking game suddenly sounded. Since the partner of the English player, Albert Grey, the spider demon woman Darachan has died. For English citizens, the civilization marriage reward of Darachan has been cancelled. In the setting of the marriage game, when the player dies, his partner becomes a widow, and the engagement between the two parties is automatically dissolved. Refer to the former Indian player Mater and the female giant lizard. If the partner dies but the player is not dead, the engagement will also be cancelled, and the civilization marriage reward will be withdrawn. For a time, all kinds of wailing sounds were heard across the English border. Regarding the entry bonus of Spider-Woman Darachan, Health +8, Constitution +3, Reaction +2, Spirit +1, Violence +5, Charm +05. Suddenly disappeared. Fortunately, Albert did not die, so England would not be specifically punished. The negative term violent disappeared, but their hatred towards Albert did not diminish in the slightest. English citizens flooded the streets, shouting slogans and rioting. They hated the whole Grey family and had no way to deal with Albert, who was in the game world. They could only vent their hatred and anger on the Grey family, demand severe punishment from Buckingham Palace. However, the broadcast of the marriage game has not yet ended. Ding, ding, ding. The sharp and cold ding-ding sounds, like the sharp gongs, echoed one after another. It not only resounds in the real world, but also in the hearts of players from hundreds of countries in the game world of Xia. Players who were struggling to survive in a random room, or who had just matched with a partner and were having a night of love, were all stunned at the same time. It seemed to carry a silent accusation, breaking the original gaming environment where everyone was fighting alone. Immediately following, the system announced, because the English player Albert Grey murdered his partner, the spider demon woman Darachan, this player is punished. The system will deprive the player Albert Grey of his homeland marriage rights. As soon as the words fell, the collapsed wooden house had 5 doors that were still standing, but suddenly one of them disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. That was Albert's bridal chamber. This means that he will never be able to find a partner in the matchmaking game again. For a while, whether it is the hundreds of players in the game world. In the real world, billions of people were all stunned. Chapter 101, Albert, come back to life, my love. Matching game, since it contains the word matching. The importance of a partner to players is self-evident. Marry a partner, whether it is to obtain Lingyuan Dan, innate skills, or improve strength. It also brings rich marriage rewards to the civilized countries controlled by the players. It plays a decisive and crucial role. The English people were completely panicked and in chaos. Albert lost his marriage house, which meant that he could no longer bring benefits to England. But his death would bring disaster to England. Where can I find justice in this? The announcement of the punishment was like an icy arrow, piercing Albert's heart. Any regrets? Pain? Yes, but not much. It would all be worth it, as long as I could get rid of that damn spider woman. Abel forced a smile, but it was a smile that was tinged with pain. Things have come to this, but he has no regrets. Ding, ding, ding. The loud clanging sound appeared again. Like a slap in the face, it dealt a heavy blow to Albert's heart. The player, Albert Grey, is now deprived of his status as a member of a civilization. Note, the player, Albert Grey, no longer represents England. The system will reselect players from that country to participate in the marriage game. All actions of the player, Albert Grey, in the game belong only to him. Note, Albert Grey's live broadcast channel is also unrestricted, and viewers can continue to check his game status. This kicked him out of the game. But for the English people, this is a good thing. For a person who has completely lost his usefulness, they wish Albert would die far away so that they won't have to see him or her and won't be bothered by him. Without Albert's sword-bearer restrictions, the English people even hope that the useless trash will die soon. At least it's not the Red Flame judgment, you can be happy. Su Lin said this secretly and patted Albert on the shoulder as an encouragement. He never forgot that at the end of the novice period, the matchmaking game eliminated the bad players. That was the legendary quality, SSS plus Authority Red Flame, although it only manifested a trace of power so weak that it was insignificant. But the shock it brought to Su Lin was enormous. Even with his current C+ level psychic energy value of 7723, he would die if he came into contact with even the slightest bit of red flame. But what he didn't expect was that the matchmaking game would punish him as well. In view of the fact that the Yan country player, Su Lin, is an accomplice in the murder of the spider demon female, Darachin, his punishment is now. Upon hearing this, the people of Yan suddenly lost their composure. If you pinch the horse, you will eat the melon on your head. Don't be like Albert and deprive Su Shen of his lifelong right to courtship. Otherwise, you will suffer a great loss. Countries like Britain, the United States, and Sakura are also joining in the fun. There is no need to elaborate on some trash talk. 15 random rooms must be opened within 7 days. This is the punishment given to Su Lin by the marriage game. It feels like something that should be handled with care. Fortunately, opening 2 doors a day on average is relatively easy for Su Shen. But we can't ignore the danger of random rooms. With this restriction, if all 4 random rooms happen to be dangerous rooms, it will be terrible. Why not just kill the murderer Su Lin? This is unfair. IP, England. His luck has run out. I bet he will die in the random room. There are 7 days left. I'll see. IP, US. Think about it carefully. This punishment is reasonable. After all, there is no penalty for players meeting in random rooms, being hostile to each other, competing and fighting. If it weren't for Su Lin's deal with Albert, and being considered an accomplice by the system, he probably wouldn't even have been punished this way. Those who do evil will eventually perish. How could the Thunder Beast miss this opportunity to add insult to injury, and couldn't help but make a few mocking remarks? Roll, Nui Ma. As Su Lin gave the order, the Thunder Beast rolled uncontrollably on the ground and accidentally rolled into a hole in the courtyard, its cursing voice echoing. Where's your partner? At this time, Su Lin asked. Didn't she just? Albert was stunned when he said the latter part. Suddenly I realized that Su Lin was referring to his original partner, Gaba from the slime insect tribe. He hurriedly searched his body. Finally, he slowly took out a neatly folded handkerchief from the sewn pocket of his underwear. His movements were very gentle and slow, and he spread out the handkerchief bit by bit, revealing the seed of life of Gaba. The breath is weak and has dropped from the previous E+ level to E level. If he falls to E level again, Gaba's life force will probably completely dissipate within a few days. Mr. Su, I don't have anything to give as a reward. Albert paused. No need. Su Lin waved his hand. The yin-yang Pisces you gave me before is enough. But that's the reward for helping me kill the spider witch. It's what you deserve. Albert felt a little embarrassed. No problem, Su Lin smiled. Her body is also useful to me. It's just right as a reward. Then, under Albert's hopeful gaze, Su Lin took out the seeds of life one by one. These were all transformed from the corpses of the spider monsters in the courtyard. Using other people's resources and earning favors from them, this deal is a good one. Under the control of the art of flower language, each seed of life turns into pure nutrients and permeates the air. Finally, it flows into Gaba's seed of life, nourishing it gently. It gradually grew bigger, and its aura gradually increased, forming an egg as tall as an adult. Just a little longer, and she'll break out of her shell. The mission was accomplished, and Su Lin was preparing to leave. But Albert stopped him again. Mr. Su, I still have some spider eggs at home. I wonder if they can be of any use to you. After saying this, he pointed to the wooden house that had collapsed due to the battle. Looking closely, there were faint fluctuations of some kind under the wooden board. Those were the spider eggs laid by the spider woman, Drachin. Protected by tough spider silk, these spider eggs did not suffer much damage due to the collapse of the house. If he makes good use of resources and trains them to grow, Su Lin might be able to form another army of spider monsters. Hualala. Su Lin easily pushed away the debris in the ruins, and with a wave of his hand, he instantly collected all the spider eggs into the storage bracelet. I'm taking advantage of you. Su Lin looked straight at Albert. This man was not a bad person by nature. At least he knew how to repay a favor. If he owed someone a favor, he would also know how to repay it. No, it was you who saved me, Albert sighed. It was not until now that I realized that being able to live well and in peace is the greatest blessing given by God. Chat for a while. Su Lin then rode on the Thunder Beast and left Albert's home. In a devastated ruin, Albert sat alone in front of the giant egg, emitting green light, waiting quietly. His heartbeat was like a melody played by a string instrument, fast and tense. Click tilde, the sound of an eggshell cracking suddenly rang out. Albert stood up suddenly, staring intently. My heart is full of anticipation. Ka tilde tilde. Several tiny cracks began to appear on the surface of the eggshell, making the originally smooth jade-like eggshell appear distorted and embedded with lines. Every time the crack widened, his heart beat faster. He watched the cracks gradually expand and cross each other. Small pieces fell one after another. At this moment, Albert was inevitably a little flustered, but he was also looking forward to the surprise that was about to happen. Resurrection, my love. At this moment, he expressed his most sincere expectations in his heart. Chapter 102. Gaba's transformation, genetic recombination, and the compatibility of the spider-demon clan. Suddenly, a crisp cracking sound was heard, and fragments flew everywhere. The egg was split into pieces, and the broken eggshell slowly fell in the air. Each piece seems to bring a new life that has never been experienced before. Albert's heart trembled and beat rapidly. As the last eggshell fell, a faint light suddenly flashed. A hint of mysterious energy permeated the originally calm air, and a familiar figure slowly emerged from the center of the light. The brilliant light and its new appearance made Albert look away. I feel like I've slept for a long time. My head feels dizzy. Gaba squeezed out from the remains of the eggshell. The two tentacles on its head swayed slightly, and its eyes seemed to be looking at everything around it curiously, with a look of confusion as if it had just woken up. Spouse. The moment he saw Albert, Gaba exclaimed, rushed up to him, and rubbed his head against Albert's chest. Great, you're still here. I thought I'd never see you again. These familiar words contain the most sincere kindness and care. Albert's eyes were moist, and his throat felt tight, as if his heart was about to jump out of his throat. She could no longer control her suppressed emotions and hugged Gaba tightly, tears welling up in her eyes. Spouse, you seem to be losing weight. Are you not eating on time? Also, how did our family become like this? Hey, why are you crying? Did someone bully you while Gaba was away? Is it some bad guy who's bullying you? Tell Gaba, and Gaba will help you teach her a lesson. Gaba's tentacles gently stroked Albert's haggard face. The gentle and caring words moved Albert so much that he felt as if a spring was flowing out. That waiting like an obsession is deeply engraved in my heart. It's just a little bit of wind and frost. Albert looked at Gaba and smiled gently. It's all in the past. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that you can come back. For me, that's enough. Having experienced the ups and downs of life, I once searched for the dawn of hope in the abyss of despair. This endlessly cruel trial shaped a brand new Albert and changed his mentality. Even though Gaba is a slime bug, the visual effect is not pleasing to the eye. But her gentleness and sincerity attracted Albert more than any appearance. Like a ray of sunshine, it illuminated Albert's inner world shrouded in dark clouds. In contrast, the unparalleled beauty of the Spider-Woman, Drachen, her naked brutality and endless torture inflicted on him made Albert experience the real hell. The death of Spider-Woman also freed Albert from his shackles. Let him know who he really needs. Ugliness and beauty, kindness and evil. In this chaotic and intertwined world, Albert found his direction. He took off the two valuable rings that were still on his hands. Wiped clean with cuff. However, he personally wore it on Gaba's two tentacles. This scene was similar to the scene with Spider-Woman in the spider's nest in the bridal chamber. It's just that the former was a helpless, perfunctory response, while the current one is a true expression of feelings. Albert chose the truth, was no longer deceived by appearances, and began to love Gaba sincerely. Deeply in love with this partner, who is willing to sacrifice his life for him, regardless of everything. The hazy light shone on them, making the two rings sparkle softly in the night. Wow, spouse, you've suddenly become so gentle. Gaba was surprised and delighted. That Gaba also has a gift for you. At this unspeakable moment, Gaba opened his mouth and spit out a sticky liquid. Floating in mid-air, the mucus is stretched into fine silk threads. Floating like notes in the wind, Gaba leisurely manipulates his love, gradually surrounding it and weaving it into a warm scarf. Here, put it on quickly, Gaba laughed. It's getting cold, don't catch a cold. Albert was slightly startled when he saw this scene. The gentle light in his eyes became brighter. Gently wrap the scarf around your neck and feel endless warmth, etc. This material, Albert realized it later, holding his scarf in his hand with disbelief in his eyes. The material of this scarf is somewhat similar to Spider-Woman's spider silk. Looking at Gaba's attribute panel again, a look of shock appeared on his face. Name Gaba. Race, slime insect spider monster compatibility. Structural reorganization, integration and mastery of spider monster characteristics. Grade D+. Psychic power 900. Talent, Slimeworm metamorphosis. During the development of the Slimeworm, there is a low probability of entering the breakout state. Absorb genes from other organisms, perform gene recombination and encoding, and thus obtain the same skills and characteristics as these organisms. After successful evolution, a series of changes occurred in its external form, internal structure, physiological function, living habits, and behavioral instincts. Skills: corrosive slime green LV8, slime spider silk blue LV1, spider toxin blue LV1. This is the seed of life that was formed by the fusion of several D-level spider monsters and the corpses of many E-level spider monsters, and is used as nutrients to revive Gaba. By chance, Gaba activated the metamorphosis state of the Slimeworm tribe. At first, when Albert first met Gaba, her talent was just the slime insect talent, without the suffix metamorphosis. Now, not only has Gaba turned a disaster into a blessing, he has also broken through to level D+, and has also mastered the spider silk and toxins of the spider demon clan. If it succeeds in emerging from the cocoon, will there really be earth-shaking changes? It seems that the favor I owe Mr. Su cannot be repaid with just a few spider eggs. Albert sighed. Gaba, who was standing by, saw Albert was lost in deep thought and didn't disturb him. Seeing that Albert's clothes were tattered, she used the slimy spider silk to weave 2 more sets of clothes for him to change into. Are you hungry? I'll go make you some food. Albert stroked Gaba's head gently. There was still a lot of animal meat in the ruins of the wooden house, which was hunted by the spider-woman Dratch. However, this witch has a very picky taste and only eats D-level animal meat or spiritual plants. She treated the E-level creatures below D-level as trash and threw them aside. If there is no D-level food, she will eat the D-level spider monsters she gave birth to. The original soup is transformed into original food. Produce and sell by yourself. In the eyes of that witch, she doesn't have much affection even for her own offspring. Only when facing creatures of the same level can she take it seriously. Gaba is not hungry. Instead, he feels a little full. Gaba clung to him, his eyes gleaming with light as bright as the starry sky. I want to play Parameow with you tilde. At this moment, she seemed a little embarrassed and spoke cautiously, fearing that this request would make her spouse impatient again. It's Play-Doh, Albert corrected. No, it's not Play-Doh either. According to the marriage game, it's a marriage ceremony. Seeing the love flashing in Gaba's eyes, Albert's voice was filled with love. Follow closely behind. Albert's live broadcast channel went dark. Player Albert is holding a marriage ceremony with his slime insect partner, Gaba. The following scene is not suitable for playback, and the system automatically blocks it. The system prompt appears, but the prefix England is gone. About half an hour later, the picture returned to normal. When the golden wind and jade do meet, it is better than countless things in the world. Congratulations to player Albert for successfully completing the marriage ceremony. You have received the following rewards. Talent, Slime Insect Follower, D. Right Arrow Slime Insect Follower, Metamorphosis, D. Skills, Foul-Smelling Phlegm, White Right Arrow, Corrosive Mucus, Green. Additional skills, Mucus Spider Silk, Blue LV1, Spider Toxin, Blue LV1. This moment, as Gaba transformed, Albert himself also underwent a strange transformation. Chapter 103, Sensory Network plus 5 Thunder's Law, a decision of superiority in life and death. You're just giving me this to eat. In the courtyard, Thunder Beast stared at the green vegetables in the rice bowl suspiciously. Brother, are you kidding me? I've worked so hard for you and deserve credit. I've been hungry for a whole day, and you're just trying to trick me with these rotten vegetable leaves. It grinned, expressing its disdain without disguising. So you are feeding rabbits here. Don't be so naive, Su Lin said. These are all spiritual plants, and there is even a 2-star one. You can be happy. Then I really win, Thunder Beast muttered, obviously not satisfied with the result. Don't you have pure yang grass? It's a rare 3-star spiritual plant. I see you have quite a few planted in your yard. It's used to nourish the kidneys and strengthen yang. You're a female beast, do you have yang? Can't you just give it a try? Don't be so stingy. Okay. Anyway, there are quite a lot of pure yang grass. It is easy to raise and reproduces quickly. If it really likes it, it's okay to use it as animal food. However, just when Su Lin came back with the Chunyang grass, the little telegraph machine actually ran off to chase the flame-tailed chicken. The trick is to lure the tiger away from the mountain. If you don't behave yourself, you won't even be able to eat spiritual plants in the future. Su Lin, with a frown on his face, pressed the thunder beast to the ground and hit its head. At the side, the flame-tailed chicken, which had managed to escape from its mouth, was trembling. "I want to eat meat." The thunder beast stared at Su Lin with its azure eyes and growled softly. "There is pure yang grass." "No, I want to eat meat chicken." "Listen to me." Su Lin patted it again. "Then transform the pure yang grass in your hand into pure plant spirit seeds." As Su Lin's strength increased, he became more adept at using the language of flowers. The pure yang grass spirit seed is much purer and more refined than the previous pure yang pill. The thunder beast roared and swallowed several plant seeds. It smacked its lips with a hint of satisfaction. "It tastes okay, but it can't compare to the spirit seeds made from flesh and blood." The thunder beast grinned and said, "Didn't you bring back a lot of spider corpses? You can turn them into spirit seeds for me as well." "Don't push your luck." Su Lin picked it up and returned to the food bowl. "I have seen your physical condition. These spiritual plants are enough to meet your needs for a few days." Seeing Su Lin's resolute attitude, Thunder Beast retreated and said to the spiritual plants in the pot, "Then turn them all into spiritual seeds." The little telegraph machine is pretty cool. After feeding the animal, Su Lin gave it a few more instructions. Villa living room. The three women were gathered together, studying the materials left by Su Lin. In addition, the 9 bronze puppets were also brought in from outside the home. "Is there any problem?" Su Lin said, and then took out the body of Spider-Woman from the storage bracelet. "If it's the flesh and blood that's missing, I have one that's just right. C+ grade." The 3 girls were all a little surprised when they saw this. "Has the problem with the player named Albert been resolved?" Mirabel asked. After listening to what Su Lin said, the 3 women were all emotionally touched, especially Sophia. At first, she was furious at Albert for murdering his partner, but upon learning that he was being tortured recklessly and cruelly by Spider-Woman every day, his anger gradually died down. Instead, there is understanding and sympathy. Su Lin looked strange. "You little idiot, if you really encountered something like that, wouldn't you be so happy?" "Don't talk nonsense." Sophia used the heart ring to convey the message. "I am not that kind of person." "Su Lin, indeed, you are not a human being when you get up like that." Well, after being exposed, Sophia did not get angry or embarrassed, but stopped pretending. "Can you call the Thunder Beast over tonight?" "What are you going to do?" Su Lin was shocked. "Oh, nothing, not as dirty as you think," Sophia said with a smile. "It's just that its lightning magic is quite powerful. I want to learn it." "Su Lin, I guess that you would stop pretending, but I didn't expect you to remove the disguise so thoroughly." "It's okay. I still have an electromagnetic knife." Upon hearing this, Ellie and Mirabel looked over immediately. "Oops, I forgot to use the tungsten ring just now, and accidentally said what was in my heart. It seems that you two have discovered new ways to play during your journey." Mirabel quipped, crossing her arms. Chat for a while. Several people began to discuss how to maximize the use of the materials. Originally, Su Lin wanted to use the remaining pages of the Book of the Dead to transform Spider-Woman's body into an undead creature. But in that case, Spider-Woman's strength can only be fixed at C+ level, and it is the weakest C+. They can only act based on their physical instincts, and even their innate skills are difficult to display. Ellie has an idea. Use Spider-Woman's corpse plus Swamp Thing's bones plus melting spirit crystal dust. Integrate into the bronze puppet and reforge and refine it. If you are lucky, you can even make all the bronze puppets have the potential to be C+ level. This is a big challenge for her. Su Lin strongly supports this. Tell her to go for it with confidence, and it doesn't matter if she fails. It can improve your dexterity and talent, which is a good thing. The discussion is over. Several people began to process Spider-Woman's body, breaking it down into various materials in a clear and orderly manner. This is a toxin with a paralyzing effect, and it kills creatures below level C with one blow. Even if a C-level creature is attacked, it will be difficult to deal with it. The Fall of Nightmare. Psychedelic toxins, that's a pretty good thing. However, if you want to poison, you have to change your weapon. Your electromagnetic knife has the element of lightning. When you use it, it will automatically burn away the poison. Surprisingly, Mirabelle is quite knowledgeable about poisons. The analysis is very clear and logical. Carefully classify the various toxins in the poison sac and put them in bottles for later use. Suddenly she exclaimed, "Sensory web, this toxin is quite interesting. The venom is black in color, but is not lethal in terms of damage. Its name matches its actual utility. As the name suggests, it is like a net, delicate and complex, enlarging and capturing all the senses in the body, increasing its sensitivity several times." The explanation is finished. Mirabelle played with the sensory web in the bottle and glanced at Sophia with a smile. The latter was shy and timid and glanced at Su Lin secretly. Su Lin, who understood everything, turned his gaze to Mirabelle. The three people's gazes were intertwined with the sensory web, and everything was self-evident. Only the little bunny was focused, concentrating on moving all the materials to the forging table. He looked so innocent. He had no idea what the three of them were planning. Then, Su Lin took out a lot of spider monster corpses. These were the results of hunting by thunder beasts. Their bodies were in tatters, and many showed signs of having been eaten. It must be that small telegraph machine that was secretly operating during the battle. The surplus value has been extracted. Su Lin had no choice but to use the remaining pages of the Book of the Dead to transform it into an undead creature. Like the undead bats, they are sent out to patrol outside the home and act as a defensive force. As the saying goes, absence makes one feel better. Before the battle, Su Lin didn't forget to call Ellie. "Don't rush to refine it. It won't be too late to try tomorrow." Su Lin, who had just fully charged the electromagnetic knife on the lightning wood, pulled up Ellie, who was still leaning on the forging table. "Your ingenuity and dexterity are now in greater use." In the dormitory, Mirabelle and Sophia have entered combat mode. These two witches have mastered the poison skill of sensory web. Thunder magic alone is not enough. Ellie is urgently needed to cooperate with Su Lin in the battle. Chapter 104. Random Room Refresh, Changing Maze, Weird Wax Museum. You are in battle. The blessings and destiny feature of the rare item Yin Yang Pisces is triggered, and your skill, Flower Fairy, gains double experience acceleration. You are in combat. Your skill Wave Slash gains double experience speed. You are in battle. Your skill Light Pattern Wings gains double experience acceleration. Congratulations! Your skill Imprisonment Shackles has been upgraded to level 4. During the battle, the system's prompts kept chirping. During the halftime break, Su Lin took some time to close the reminder. The system prompts are quiet, but the roar caused by the battle was even more intense. Under the curtain of night, the spacious room becomes a world for 4 people. The flower nest, Mirabelle's flower fairy body, immediately became the main battlefield. The soft blanket bears traces of the attack. Every heavy blow shook the entire battlefield. The family portrait painting board that Ellie had drawn by hand, hanging on the wall, was shaking. The sound waves pushed the air, as if tearing apart all the silence of the night. Mirabelle blooming with brilliance. The flower fairy's magical clothes moved without wind, and the clothes changed into various shapes. During the fierce battle, bright, crystal dust was occasionally scattered and flew in the air, like extremely miniature cannonballs, exuding fragrance and making crisp sounds bouncing and echoing on the battlefield. Sophia, the winged person who is as proud and independent as an angel. The flapping of its wings created a hurricane-like roar that swirled around the battlefield. Intertwined with Mirabelle's dust, it struck every corner, causing strong resonances that almost tore the eardrums apart. When the two come together, it's more than just 1 + 1 = 2. Same. Ellie, the ghostly and agile bunnyman. His keen eyes fixed his prey. Short, rapid jumps and tumbles convey an air of urgency. She assisted Su Lin in combat. Every time you land, hit the floor hard. The continuous chords that resemble the bass area of a piano create a tense and exciting rhythm. 4 people 4 ways stood in private. The intense sound of battle was like a torrent of beasts, hitting the glass and making the entire battlefield seem to tremble. It seemed as if it was about to be shattered by the violent aura, and this wave seems to dare to challenge all silence, whether on the battlefield or outside the battlefield. The next morning, Su Lin returned as a king from the Shura battlefield, feeling tired yet refreshed. But he still held his head high, his eyes sharp, giving people a feeling of being strong enough to hold up the entire sky. His serious face was outlined with firm lines, as if telling of his unyielding will. His eyes sparkled like stars, reflecting the present glory and the merit of fighting alone, and winning a great victory after penetrating deep into the enemy camp. Mirabel, Sophia, and Ellie surrounded him. Her pretty face showed even more fatigue, but her unbridled excitement could not be concealed. From the eyes of the three people, one can clearly see their deep respect and trust for Su Lin. Even though breathing was difficult, everyone's heart was filled with hope, like a spark that was about to burn. Four people are like four torches in a campfire. They lean on each other, burn with passion, and share the warmth of the stalemate. Although deeply exhausted, he never stopped for a moment. It seems that no challenge can break their determination. Even if the road ahead is difficult, full of obstacles, and there is no way back, they will stick together and never compromise. Player Su Lin. Subordinate, Yanhuang Civilization, Yan State. Grade C+. Psychic Power 85-88. Talent Gift of the Flower Fairy C+. Speed Talent. Shadow Chasing the Wind C+. Light Magic Affinity C+. Skills Flower Fairy Blue LV9 Wave / Blue LV9 Imprisonment Shackles Purple LV6 Light Pattern Wings Blue LV5. Charm 38. Combat Power Assessment High Level. This battle yielded a lot of rewards. It has the double skill experience blessing of Yin-Yang Pisces. Even the most difficult purple skill to upgrade. The Shackles of Binding has been upgraded to level 6. If it weren't for the backstabbing by a close comrade. Little Bunny pressed the sage clock while Su Lin wasn't paying attention. Su Lin plans to max out all his skills. Traitor. Su Lin grabbed one of Tutu's ice creams and took a big bite. In fact, when it comes to food grade evaluation, sweet and charming Mirabel, Sophia is as holy as an angel. Her skills in making ice cream are far inferior to Ellie's. Especially Sophia. Her beautiful feet were so beautiful that Su Lin didn't dare to compliment her. She was still not obedient during the fight, and the sheets, quilts, and blankets were all kicked to pieces by her. Take a break. The four of them recovered their strength. Su Lin in the sage clock state has eyes as deep as an ancient sage, and the little traitor Ellie is just one of the women who faces the challenge of fate. He raised his finger and gently pointed at the forging table filled with materials. Ellie, get to work. Well, but I'm so tired, I want to take a nap. No, Su Lin's tone was like he was sobering up, full of gentle warning. The body is important, but hard work is equally indispensable. You must know that the dead tree that hugged the tomb in childhood can also be reborn in the spring breeze. Even when you are most tired and most self-deprecating, you must believe that you have the strength to survive it all and regain your vitality. Ellie, Sophia asked quietly, why do I feel like something is wrong with him right now? Is he too excited? Mirabel, sage time, just get used to it. The random room has been refreshed. The wedding room is still gray and has not been refreshed. There is another task to open 15 rooms within 7 days. Su Lin had to be more diligent. Su Lin, in the sage state, has no worldly desires, and his brain reaction ability is even improved. Looking back, it seemed that it was because the spider woman, Drachn, was too harsh on Albert. Even though the latter committed the crime of murdering his partner, he did not receive any punishment from Kai Yan. If a couple is in love, committing such evil acts will not simply mean losing the right to mate for life. Naturally, the joint punishment for Su Lin would not be so painless. Random room number 1, Anaconda. There is 1 sea-level giant python and 2 sea-level giant pythons. They are guarding a spiritual plant field blood orchid, which is helpful for improving spiritual power. Random room number 2, dangerous scene, dusk snow forest. In extremely cold weather, a snow monster, B-level, psychic value 28,500, is hiding deep in the forest. With the blessing of the home environment, you are definitely no match for it. Random room number 3, changing maze. Every step may change the direction you move forward. Endless corners hide the unknown, and the final treasure can only be obtained by those who solve the puzzle. Random room number 4, dangerous scene. Weird wax museum. Wax figures transformed by a mysterious force, each with endless resentment, will tear apart any living being that enters this place. Hint 1, you must defeat all the weird wax figures before you can leave this place. Otherwise, you will be assimilated by the weird power and become one of them. Hint 2, the strength level of the weird wax figures will increase according to the player's strength level. There are 18 weird wax figures in total. Hint 3, this random room hides the Book of the Dead fragments. Su Lin was stunned for a moment. Chapter 105, Blood Orchid Spiritual Plant Field, entering the transformation maze. The fragments of the Book of the Dead will actually refresh in the random room. At first, Su Lin thought that this thing could only be obtained in the foggy world outside his home. It can be seen from this that whether it is a random room scene or the main world map of the game, all resources are subject to the matching game settings. The Weird Wax Museum. Su Lin muttered to himself, he is currently at C+ level. According to the information provided by the Golden Finger, once you enter the random room number 4, you will face 18 C+ level weird wax figures. This is very difficult, but the remaining pages of the Book of the Dead are what Su Lin is determined to obtain. Now that you have encountered it, you must never let it go, and his time is only today. Otherwise, once the random room is refreshed at 0 o'clock in the evening, you will miss the opportunity to collect the Book of the Dead. Using the elimination process, pass the B-level snow monster in room 2. Let's start with the simple one, and get the blood orchid in room 1 as soon as possible. It's just a C-level plus 2 C-level pythons, easy to deal with. What are you doing? The thunder beast lying on the ground opened its eyes, raised its head, and said indignantly, "Fuck, you had a great time at the party last night, but did you know you disturbed my sleep? You're like a donkey that has turned into a spirit. You've been doing this all night long without even a break. Aren't you afraid of dying of a stroke?" Su Lin ignored the thunder beast's machine gun chatter. I only replied with one sentence, "I'll take you to eat meat, do you want to go?" Meat? If you say this, the thunder beast will no longer be sleepy. Okay. Little telegraph machine starry eyes, JPG. Call me master and let me hear it. My lord, what the hell? The little telegraph machine, which was just in the middle of cursing, immediately panicked when it saw Su Lin turn around and leave. He quickly caught up and bit Su Lin's trouser leg. Then he looked up and grinned. Master Silver, oh mother, please take me to eat meat. No, I haven't eaten meat for a long time. Su Lin, a smell of corn grits. Master, please give me a straight answer. You're swearing again. No, you heard it wrong, that's my catchphrase. The thunder beast pretended to be pitiful and said shamelessly, "As long as you give me meat to eat, I will make sure to serve the Lord Silver clearly in the future. You should save your energy. Bring the thunder beast into the living room of the villa." This guy looked around like a country bumpkin coming into the city. Then he ran to Ellie in front of the forging table and asked curiously, "Little rabbit, what are you doing here?" Bang. He slapped it hard on the head. Su Lin was almost speechless because of this little telegraph machine. But this guy wasn't angry at all. His skin was as thick as a city wall. His attention was focused again on the 4 random rooms glowing with silver light. Walk. Too lazy to talk to it, Su Lin kicked it into room 1 and followed it. The scene before us is a primeval forest. In the center of the forest, there is a wide field of spiritual plants, glowing red in the light. Name, Blood Orchid Spiritual Field. Type, spiritual plant. Rating, rare. Quality, blue superior quality. Features, spiritual gathering. Taking it can increase spiritual power and can be used to refine elixirs. Delicate blood orchids have high requirements for the growth environment and need blood energy as nutrients. The quality is higher than that of pure yang grass, reaching the top blue level. Besides, there are also 300-meter-long giant pythons guarding it. They are covered with thick scales, and their eyes are full of vigilance and coldness. Go eat, Su Lin instructed. Thunder Beast glanced at him and said, "If you want me to come here as a free fighter, just say so. Don't try to trick me every now and then." Having said that, it still twisted its body and rushed towards the giant python. A bolt of lightning was released from the Thunder Beast's body, instantly hitting the largest sea-level python. The powerful electric current made it tremble continuously. Not long after, the giant python was electrocuted to the point that it was burnt on the outside and tender on the inside, and fell down. As for the 2 sea-level pythons, they posed even less threat and were easily killed by the Thunder Beast. The Blood Orchid Spiritual Field turned into a card and was taken into Su Lin's pocket. The body of the 3-headed python was also taken away. It will be even more delicious when you eat it at home after it is cooked. The Thunder Beast, who was about to transform into a small telegraph machine and spit out messages, instantly smiled when he heard these words. The trip went surprisingly smoothly and only took a dozen minutes. The extremely fast clearance speed surprised the hundreds of millions of people who witnessed this scene. Since when did sea-level beings become so vulnerable? Even Su Shen didn't take any action. Let the little telegraph machine be a beast, and the problem can be solved easily like chopping melons and vegetables. It's not that the enemy is too weak, but that the current Su Shen is too strong. Some netizens exclaimed, The other audience members were also filled with emotion. Return home. Su Lin planted the newly harvested blood orchids in the attached spiritual field. The density is well arranged, and the greenery is lush. The Chunyang grass field occupies an area. The dense yellow-green grass looks like a piece of emerald green silk flowing with golden luster. Those 3-star spiritual plants, plus a dozen 2-star spiritual plants, and dozens of 1-star spiritual plants are also extremely eye-catching. Every leaf is full of vitality, and the dense plants are like a green ocean, one piece after another, one cluster after another. The scene of vibrant life, and everything flourishing is right before our eyes. Su Lin called Mirabelle and Sophia, and asked the 2 girls to study the blood orchid. Spiritual plants that can directly enhance spiritual power are very precious. If used properly, it might be able to replace the Lingyuan pills rewarded by the system. He took out another C-class python and used the flower language technique to transform it into a blood and flesh spirit seed, which he used as nutrient to nourish the blood orchid. It makes its already vigorous vitality even more vigorous, the petals more gorgeous, and the unique blood color even brighter, as if to illuminate the entire spiritual field. Walk. Su Lin, who was swift and decisive, called upon the Thunder Beast again. This time he was going to enter random room number 3, the changing maze. The world behind the door appeared before them. It was an intricate maze with winding paths leading to endless expanses, like a python in the abyss, opening its huge mouth to swallow everything. A man and a beast were in a dim rock passage. The Thunder Beast looked around curiously. Take a walk around the area. Suddenly it froze. Fuck, why is the door to go home gone? Hearing this, Su Lin turned around and saw that the random room that was just behind him was indeed gone. Every turn may bring a new scene, and every step may hide unknown dangers. This is the hidden information provided by Goldfinger before. It is not as simple as the maze we understand conventionally. The changing maze can change according to your every step, even if there were no ferocious beasts attacking, even if there were no traps. Just this stomach-churning characteristic alone might trap Su Lin to death here. The anxious footsteps of the Thunder Beast echoed in the empty maze. The rhythmic hitting of the gunfire on the cold stone ground made a dull sound, breaking the silence. The billions of Yangyu citizens in the live broadcast room were also as anxious as ants on a hot pan. Now what Su Lin has to do is to find the exit in this maze where he has no sense of time or direction, and find the treasure hidden in the maze, and leave this endless dungeon full of dead ends and loops. Chapter 106. Labyrinth Treasure, Epic Ominous Alarm Clock. How can there be such a strange room? Is this going to drive the players to their death? It's ever-changing, there's simply no solution. Godsu is just too impatient. What can we do? The system's punishment is still there. It requires 15 random rooms to be opened in 7 days, and no less than 2 rooms can be opened in a day. We can only rely on luck. Haha, I said Su Lin's good luck had run out, and it's finally his turn to be unlucky. IP, US. Nothing is absolute. Since it's a maze, there must be a way to get through it. There should be some rules. Call on the most powerful brain to solve the puzzle. The atmosphere in the live broadcast room was tense, with an invisible sense of urgency weighing on everyone's shoulders. In the light curtain, Su Lin, with the Thunder Beast, was walking towards the twisted and complex corridor. The difficult maze design is sometimes narrow and sometimes wide, and is full of traps. For example, the Thunder Beast was clearly following Su Lin closely. The same stretch of road. Nothing happened while Su Lin was walking. Unfortunately, the Thunder Beast stepped on a trap. The rock floor gave way, and a trap clamped its hind legs. Fortunately, this guy was strong and durable, and the trap made of fine iron only hurt its fur. With a strong kick, the trap shattered instantly. What the hell is this place? Even flying is restricted. The Thunder Beast cursed and complained. Just now it wanted to take off by stepping on thunder and fly away from here directly. But as soon as it rises high enough to reach the top of the wall, it will be blocked by an invisible barrier. No matter how hard it tried, it couldn't be blown to pieces. Follow my steps. Su Lin paused, turned back, and urged. Pay more attention to the position of my feet when I take steps, and don't make mistakes. That's easy to say, Thunder Beast muttered. You have 2 legs and I've numbed 4 legs. How can it be the same? Su Lin looked at it as if it were an idiot. Then why can't you stand up and walk upright? Oh, that's right. You are quite smart. The narrow stone walkway often changes silently, tilting, twisting, or even disappearing. The walls are constantly shifting, forming new walkways and sealing old exits. Su Lin moved lightly, stepped through the silent stone porch and entered the dark corridor. Can God Su escape successfully? A Yan country netizen raised an anxious question in the barrage. Countless netizens responded instantly. I don't know, I'm not sure. I hope God Su is safe and sound. The real challenge of the changing maze is that every time Su Lin passes an intersection, the maze will change. Where most people seem at a loss, he thrives. Hidden clues keep appearing before my eyes, and I can vaguely see the changing light and shadow of the future. Mutated paths, dangerous traps, everything is under Su Lin's control. Examine every detail and interpret every change. Guided by the information flow, Su Lin fixed his sight and looked for the best route. He never gets lost or confused, because he can see every corner, understand every corridor, and knows the existence of every trap. Seeing that everything was fine as Su Lin's instructions were followed, the little telegraph machine was convinced. Standing upside down on his front legs, he could only look at Su Lin's heels, remembering every step of Su Lin and following him closely. 20 meters ahead, move 2 steps to the left corner, and you will encounter a D+ level maze monster. 34 meters to the right. If you step on the floor, you will fall into the maze dungeon and be trapped for 3 hours. There is a cracked floor 14 meters in front of you. If you step on it, you will be cursed and fall into a state of madness and weakness. Hidden crises tried to stop Su Lin from moving forward, but they were all resolved by him making the best response strategies in advance. There is no escape from him. The monsters that are unavoidable are mostly only D-level and can be killed easily. The bodies can be stored in the storage bracelet as trophies. The billions of viewers in the live broadcast room widened their eyes. Su Lin on the screen is like a night owl, nimbly moving through the dangerous maze. His steps were confident, and his expression was calm, as if he was strolling in his own garden. Perfect dodges and correct decisions time and time again. It's like a carefully choreographed dance is taking place. This simply breaks the common sense. The barrage exploded like fireworks. This is impossible. He must have cheated. IP, US. Why is this murderer who deserves to be hanged on the gallows so lucky? Could he be the illegitimate son of the goddess of luck? IP, England. Boring trick. IP, Tianzhu country, but to be honest, the monsters in the maze look pretty cool. Get lost, you Damasan. IP, Uiguo. Those are all rotten corpses and rock giants, and you can even ask for favors. The people of Yan are also confused about this. Do you wonder if God Su is really cheating? How did he figure out the secret of the maze? It should be God Su who discovered the rules of the changing maze using a method unknown to us. Comments of panic, doubt, and all flashed across the screen. One can't help but applaud Su Lin's calmness. About half an hour later, Su Lin finally arrived at the exit of the maze. In front of me is an ancient and thick door. Push it open slowly. The door creaked loudly as he exerted force, with the rich smell of ancient stone and damp earth in the air. The scene inside did not have any brilliance. It looks ordinary. In the empty rock room, only one thing stood out. Placed on the stone platform, it looks like an alarm clock, tightly wrapped with bandages. What the hell are these? The thunder beast walked over upside down, raising its head with difficulty to look around. After all the hard work, this is the only thing you get. When expectations were dashed, it couldn't help but feel a little muffled. Su Lin glanced at it and said, "The maze is out, you don't have to do this now." Thunder beast, I just like it this way, what's your business? Hey, not only can I do a handstand, I can also do a backflip, a front flip, and a side flip. I jump and hop, hey, I just play. Don't make me slap you. Don't force me, I'm just kidding, don't get excited. Su Lin was not in a hurry to take the thing on the stone platform. Instead, concentrate and stare at the alarm clock. The property panel of the object suddenly appeared before his eyes. Name, imitation, error 6 unknown. Alarm clock. Type, special item. Rating, epic. Quality, purple medium. Star rating, intermediate. Features, 1 ominous siren. After removing the ceiling bandage, the alarm clock will emit a strange tone. This special frequency can be transmitted in the vacuum of the universe. 2 voice of judgment. The siren has a destructive effect on B-level and below. It has a damaging effect on B-level weirdness. Hint 1, the ominous siren will seriously affect the sanity of creatures. Tip 2, alarm clock users will not hear this sound. Hint 3, the bandage that seals the alarm clock can be used as earplugs to prevent the infestation of ominous sirens. Hint 4, the siren will awaken the sleeping powerful weirdness above B-level, a level to S-level. Hint 5, This item can help you solve the strange wax figure in Random Room number 4. Chapter 107, Bronze Puppet Promotion, Female Swordsman Jaya Sword Dance. Epic. Truly epic. Its value is much greater than the lightning-struck wood with epic potential. The quality strength even exceeds that of the fragments of the Book of the Dead, epic level, lower purple. It's just that this feature is a bit tasteless. It seems to be a powerful weapon against weird creatures. The lethality is limited to the B level. For the A level and S level above the B level, it really becomes an alarm clock to wake them up from their slumber. It seemed that Su Lin had encountered something weird before. For example, when you try to seize the alchemy furnace of Bijou Temple in the Random Room, you meet the evil monk, Juchen. That crazy half-human, half-demon form had some weird shadows. There is also a cursed room with vengeful spirits that appeared in Random Rooms, which seems to be related. Although Su Lin automatically passed it and did not enter, he still had a general understanding of it. The ominous siren can also affect the rationality of living things. I wonder if it can be used as a tool to reduce intelligence in the future. Maybe it will come in handy. Hearing Su Lin's mumbling, the Yan people were excited and were madly posting comments. Is Su Shen going to follow Long Yashen's path next? /expecting, JPG. Long Yashen. This man with an aura of lowering intelligence, his body trembled, his aura of kingship shook, and all the heroes bowed down to him. It's just a moderate joke. I think this alarm clock is not a good thing. The fact that the alarm clock can affect rationality alone has a sinister nature. It's a bit like the Judgment Star alarm clock, G.H. Rose in the Cthulhu mythology system. Hiss, you know what, it really does look a bit like him. Could it be a replica of the Death Star that person hated? It's best not to touch anything related to the Death Star if you can. May's chamber. The moment Su Lin took off the ominous alarm clock, the stone platform suddenly collapsed. Immediately afterwards, a silver light flashed, and a random room suddenly appeared from the stone platform. It turns out that only if we find the treasure will this BYD maze let us leave. The Thunder Beast was unhappy. In its eyes, anything that is inedible is useless garbage, regardless of its quality. A typical foodie. Passing through the random room, the man and the beast returned home. Su Lin reaped a lot of rewards. Ellie's not bad either. She sat in front of the forging table, skillfully controlling various tools. Those clever hands moved swiftly across the delicate parts. Concentrate on retraining the bronze puppet. Until the fire went out, Ellie wiped the sweat from her forehead, clapped her hands, and admired the success of the furnace. The 9 bronze puppets lined up in a row have undergone earth-shaking changes. The surface is no longer made of bronze, but instead is closer to human flesh and blood and lifelike. The 3D-level spearmen, 3 archers, and 2 shield soldiers all have a strength level of D+, and has C-level potential. As for the most outstanding one, it must be the female swordsman puppet. Properties panel. Name unnamed. Affiliation Su Lin. Type puppet. Strength level C. Potential C+, with a low probability of being promoted to B level. Quality rare. Skills command blue LV1. As the player issues orders, this puppet can mobilize other puppets to fight together. Extreme memory sword dance blue LV1. The female swordsman puppet can remember the enemy's attack pattern in a short period of time and use sword skills to crack and counterattack. I fused the command token into her. Ellie smiled as if to take credit for it and said, "This way, I don't have to distract myself from controlling the token during the battle. As long as I give the command, she will cooperate like an ordinary creature." That's great. Su Lin was full of praise. Soul-melting crystal dust, plus Spider-Woman's corpse, plus Swamp Monster's corpse, plus other forging materials. It is not a problem to upgrade its quality. I thought the reforging process would take a long time, but Ellie had actually done it before the morning was over. Your talent for dexterity has been promoted to C level. Looking at Ellie's attribute panel again, Su Lin was even more surprised. Originally, he expected that after Ellie refined the puppet, her talent would be promoted to C level for sure. Unexpectedly, the little bunny brought him another surprise. Ellie seemed a little embarrassed to be praised. I also upgraded the forging table to C level with the remaining materials. She patted her chest and said confidently, "As long as we have enough materials, our family won't have to worry about 3-star rare items in the future." Su Lin hugged her distressedly. "Don't be too tired, you are still pregnant, take a proper rest. No one forced you to do this." But Ellie blinked and pouted. "This morning you told me something about a dead tree coming back to life, and asked me to roll up my sleeves and work hard. Did I say that? I did. Yes, you did, Thunder Beast interrupted. I heard your bossy voice outside. You tortured my wife all night and didn't even let her sleep. You are such a scum. Get lost. Su Lin kicked the Thunder Beast aside. Children should not interrupt when adults are talking. Afterwards, Su Lin spoke softly to calm Tutu's emotions. He said that he was in the sage time at that time, so he did stupid things. You're such a good wife. I feel so sorry for her. How can I bear to let you do this and that? To be honest, it was you, the little traitor, who secretly opened the sage's clock. You asked for it. Well, then you can't be so rigid and strict in your tone like my father. It's weird. It's not strange. I've already told you that you can treat me as your father. There's no conflict at all. It's even weirder. The Thunder Beast stared at the man and woman whispering to each other with a constipated look on his face. The corny words almost made it vomit out the spiritual plants it had eaten last night. Next, Mirabelle and Sophia also brought good news. With the help of the blood orchid, Mirabelle avoided the embarrassing situation of running out of mana and changing her body shape. Eat a few blood orchids, then use the flower language technique to loosen the soil and cultivate it. And there is also the flesh and blood spirit seed transformed from the sea-level giant python. Today, in the affiliated spiritual fields, the spiritual plants are absorbing nutrients and growing healthily. It is like a grand natural park, exuding an intoxicating vitality and vigor. Whether it was Su Lin or the Yan people who witnessed all this, they all felt a sense of fulfillment and accomplishment when playing the farming game. Moreover, Sophia, the young pharmacist who is proficient in pharmacy, also performed extremely reliably. By combining the medicinal properties of blood orchids and other spiritual plants, he successfully refined the blood orchid pill, which can significantly enhance spiritual power. It is predicted that after a period of time, even without the Lingyuan pill rewarded by the system, Su Lin can safely break through to level B. Besides, spiritual plants are like leeks, which are everlasting. There is no shortage of medicinal herbs at home, and it is only a matter of time before the three companions are promoted to C+ level. I'm so hungry, I want to eat meat, snake meat. The Thunder Beast telegraph machine wouldn't stop ringing and kept clamoring for dinner. Man is iron and food is steel. If you don't eat for a meal, you will feel hungry. Su Lin's family follows the 3 meals a day system. If exploring the random room takes a long time and it is past mealtime, his partner will wait for him. It won't work without the host Su Lin, and the midnight snack every day is essential. Random room number 4, the Weird Wax Museum, the hidden fragments of the Book of the Dead. Su Lin is determined to get it. Although he had the epic ominous alarm clock, Su Lin had to make preparations in advance before exploring. Those 18 weird wax figures are not vegetarians. He needs to eat more to replenish his energy. Ice cream, peaches, and braised pork feet are 3 delicious dishes that you cannot miss. Improve your skills first. Yan Country player Su Lin is holding a wedding ceremony. The following scene is not suitable for playback and the system automatically blocks it. Audience, Thunder Beast, a kiss that pinches your numbing cunt. So this is what you mean by eating. What the hell are you doing? You just expect to make a living by doing this, right? I want to eat. Have a meal. The enraged Thunder Beast banged its head against the bedroom door. Final. Su Lin, unable to bear it any longer, opened the door and gave it a slap. They tied it up with shackles and threw it directly into the courtyard. Thunder Beast. Chapter 108 Wax Figure Revives, Weird Scene. You are in combat. The Blessings of Love feature of the rare item Yin Yang Pisces is triggered, and your skill, Imprisonment Shackles, gains double experience acceleration. Congratulations! Your skill, Flower Fairy Blue, LV9, has been upgraded to Flower Fairy Purple, LV1. Congratulations! Your skill, Wave/Blue, LV9, has been upgraded to Wave/Purple, LV1. Congratulations! Your skill, Light Pattern Wings Blue, has been upgraded to level 7. There are 4 skills, except for the Restraining Shackles, which are all at level 6. The other 3 skills are all improved, especially Flower Fairy and Wave Slash, which were upgraded from blue quality to purple. The power and effectiveness have been greatly improved. Worth celebrating. Don't celebrate. If you celebrate any longer, the random room will be refreshed soon. Mirabelle complained weakly. I couldn't help myself, and before I knew it, it was already 6 o'clock in the afternoon. There are still 6 hours left for Su Lin to pass through the Weird Wax Museum. I'll go with you. Sophia volunteered. She is good at light magic, which might come in handy when dealing with strange wax figures. Su Lin took some time to study the ominous alarm clock. The system name is Copy Error 6 Unknown Alarm Clock, although you can use the cheat code to check the real name of this special item. But Golden Finger reminded Su Lin that it was better not to do so. Otherwise, it will be distorted and polluted in indescribable ways, causing unpredictable backlash to the main body. It's better to curb your curiosity and never try to commit suicide. Have you ever thought about this question? The Thunder Beast suddenly spoke and pointed at random room number 4. After entering the room, if we stay too long and the random room is refreshed, will we be trapped in it for the rest of our lives? Hearing this, Su Lin looked at it in surprise. This little telegraph machine usually swears all the time and seems very uncultured, but I didn't expect it can actually think. He feels a bit like a reckless Zhang Fei, rough on the outside but delicate on the inside. Su Lin explained, "Don't worry, once the refresh time comes, the system will force us to return home." This is the information he got from the hidden hint. That's good. Sophia breathed a sigh of relief. Let's go in. Just as he was about to leave, Su Lin suddenly stopped him. The Thunder Beast's unintentional words reminded Su Lin. Such a strange existence is very tricky. What's more, these 18 strange wax figures have characteristics that improve with the player's level. Once you enter, you will face 18 C+ level enemies. Su Lin thought for a moment and made up his mind. Let Sophia refine a few blood orchid pills first. Then he brought the Thunder Beast to the foggy area outside his home. Summon a few low-level undead bats. Sharpen your sword before battle. Even if it's not bright, it will shine. Su Lin prepared to use the ominous alarm clock and conduct a rehearsal in advance. There were more than a dozen bandages wrapped around the alarm clock. First, he removed one bandage, twisted the two ends into a small ball, and threw it to the Thunder Beast. Let it act like a headset and plug your ears. Then unravel them one by one. The alarm clock rang. This ancient object contains a mysterious power, and when the pointer oscillates, a sharp sound is transmitted. Next second, the undead bat floating in the air was shaking and spinning uncontrollably. They fell to the ground one after another, and the spiritual flames in their eye sockets were extinguished in an instant, as if they were poured with a basin of cold water. This was just an attempt that Su Lin made on a whim. He was still surprised when he saw that the alarm siren could also have an effect on undead creatures. No, it's not about killing them, but the alarm clock's ability to affect their rationality indirectly distorts and destroys their spirituality. Su Lin picked up the corpse of an undead bat and analyzed it carefully. Although this is just a low-level undead creature that is not counted in its grade, it has been transformed by the remnant pages of the Book of the Dead. Vitality mainly depends on spiritual fire. Their level is too low, and the strength of their spiritual fire is equivalent to a weak candle flame, which will be extinguished by the slightest breeze. Afterwards, Su Lin summoned an E-level, D-level, and C-level undead bat. Try again with the ominous alarm clock. The E-level undead bat's spiritual fire was also extinguished, and it fell to the ground, deader than dead. Even with the fragments of the Book of the Dead, it is not possible to revive it again. The D-level undead bat lost control and flew around like a kite with a broken string. The C-level undead bat was able to resist the infection of the bell, but the spiritual fire in its eye sockets weakened a lot. If it were truly spooky, the ominous siren of an alarm clock would be exponentially more lethal. This attempt gave Su Lin a rough estimate of the effectiveness of the ominous alarm clock. When she returned home, Sophia had already refined more than a dozen blood orchid pills. Throw 2 of them to the Thunder Beast to increase its spiritual energy value to 9,000 points, the peak of C+ level. Su Lin also ate a few, and his strength level also increased to C+. Sophia swallowed the rest, successfully broke through to C+ level, with a psychic energy value of about 7,500. Next, Su Lin waited patiently for time to pass. It was exactly 11:00 at night. "Are you going in?" Sophia asked. "Wait a little longer." Another half-hour passed. Thunder Beast urged, "That's about it, stop dawdling." Waited another 10 minutes. There are still 20 minutes left before the random room refreshes. "Come in." Su Lin took a deep breath, removed the 2 bandages in advance, and let Lay Beast and Sophia wear them as earplugs. In the darkness, with flickering candlelight, the wall lamps cast a dim yellow glow, and the air was filled with the smell of burning candles. The overly long echo sounded like a ghostly hand hitting a cold stone wall. The floor was covered with red velvet, and the walls were covered with dusty portraits, alternating between light and dark with the candlelight. However, these fancy displays cannot distract people's attention. All light and sight are attracted by the 18 wax figures, arranged in 2 rows in the museum. Yangyuo Live Broadcast Room. God Su has entered the random room again. It's late at night, and he is so dedicated. This random room has a name. It's called the Weird Wax Museum. I feel this scene is a bit creepy, like a scene from a horror movie. The wax figures are natural and dressed in various different fancy costumes. The various lifelike postures seem to be imitating human movements with their limbs. The meticulous craftsmanship and meticulous details make them look incredibly terrifying. Standing in the gaze, lost in the discordant silence. The moment 2 people and 1 beast stepped in, these 18 static entities suddenly came to life. Rustle, 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 tilde, tilde, tilde. Their bodies began to twist. The faceless wax figure turned its face to face Su Lin. It kept changing like pinching the face, greedily absorbing Su Lin's appearance. Every subtle feature and every trace of his was perfectly replicated on the wax figure's face. Just like Su Lin's mirror image, so similar. The intersection of reality and illusion, a bizarre scene that blends fear and fantasy. The smile line on the wax figure's mouth had split wide, until it became a terrible deep groove running from cheek to ear. The dim candlelight made all this solidified fear seem tangible, and even penetrated the screen and struck the hearts of hundreds of millions of viewers. Chapter 109. The Ghost in the Dressing Mirror, the Terrifying and Weird Master. 18 strange wax figures, exuding strong resentment and malice. Like monsters in the shadows, Su Lin's face was reflected in his lifeless eyes. Their auras all instantly rose to C+ level. Fuck. The Thunder Beast let out a strange cry, with a look of astonishment on its face. 1 beeper was enough for me, and now there are 18 more. Isn't there any way to survive? As it complained, arcs of electricity flashed all over its body. A chain of lightning was emitted, connecting all the wax figures like a chain, and crackling sounds rang out. There was a burning smell in the wax museum, but it only blocked the wax figures for a moment and did not cause any fatal damage to them. Sophia used her full strength skill, Shield of Light, to block in front. The shield is wide, horizontal, and solid. Su Lin quickly removed the bandage of the ominous alarm clock and pressed the button without hesitation. The sharp pointer vibrated, and a strange metallic sound resounded, reaching the 18 wax figures. The shrill sound of tearing bells exploded in the wax museum. The trajectory of the sound waves cut through the space and spread to every corner, like an invisible meteorite, bombarding each wax figure, as if to dispel the resentment bound in the wax figures. Thunder Beast and Sophia were not affected by the noise of the ominous siren, because they had used bandages as earplugs in advance. As for the billions of viewers in front of the screen, they didn't hear any sound. The debuff ringtone of the ominous alarm clock is automatically blocked by the system. Otherwise, if the audience really heard this kind of ringing tone, the entire Yan country might be in chaos. Look, those wax figures seem to be in a lot of pain. They are all C+ level terrifying beings, but they are afraid of the alarm clock ringing. What the hell? It's the characteristic of the alarm clock that can cause damage to weird things. In other words, these wax figures are all weird things, and Master Su accidentally hit them. Room 3's changing maze appeared at the same time as Room 4's weird wax museum. I didn't expect that the 2 complement each other, and there is a way to crack them. The room that seems impossible to pass actually hides a ray of hope. At this moment, the people of Yan were extremely excited. In the picture, 18 weird wax figures, twisted, screaming, and crawling on the ground in pain, until the expressions on their faces froze, as if they were cut by a pair of scissors called time and frozen there. The ominous sirens are so lethal to them, such as tofu dipped in brine. The hard body began to soften, like a candle being burned by flames and gradually melting. Pa tilde, like drops of wax slid down, as if the light of the soul was extinguished and disintegrated from the body. The 18 strange wax figures wailed before their death, which was so creepy that all the viewers in front of the screen shuddered. Is the ball dead? The Thunder Beast, who had always been carefree and fearless, now had a trembling tone. After wrapping the alarm clock with bandages again, the strange ringing sound finally stopped. The fragment of the Book of the Dead is hidden on the dressing table behind the curtain in the lobby of the Wax Museum. With a ripping sound, the curtain was pulled down by Su Lin casually. What is blocked at the back is a larger stage, similar to that used for performances. Compared with the layout of the Wax Museum, it is quite abrupt. There was actually a dressing table on the table. Is this a wax museum, a musical performance venue, or a dressing room? Very contradictory and hard to understand. Different from the old and dusty furnishings around it. The dressing table was extremely clean and tidy. There is only a dressing mirror on top. Next to it was a piece of black parchment, with indecipherable gray runes engraved on it. The Book of the Dead fragments. Sophia exclaimed in surprise. She was very sensitive to things that had the aura of undead power. The strange thing is that I didn't notice it at all when I entered the Wax Museum before. It was not until the 18 wax figures were dealt with, and the curtain was torn off that I felt this fluctuation of aura. No, that's not right. The Wax Museum didn't have this curtain before. As the light element magic was activated, a hint of clarity appeared in Sophia's eyes. What? After receiving this reminder, Su Lin stopped. At the same time, he used the flower language to add a few buffs to himself, and then used light element magic, and there seemed to be 2 wisps of gray smoke dissipating from his eyes. This dressing table. No, perhaps it should be said that the space behind the curtain seemed to have suddenly appeared from a wax museum. It was obviously very abrupt, but I hadn't noticed it at all before. Weird, extremely weird. Looking at the dressing mirror again, its glass surface was sparkling with an indescribable brilliance. It seemed to contain a world inside, filled with bottomless horror. The strange power of things and people being no longer the same is intertwined with the remaining pages of the Book of the Dead, forming a special mysterious force field. It seems that it is because of the superposition of the 2 forces that the wax figures in this wax museum are given special life and have this strange form. Su Lin stroked his chin and analyzed carefully. Name, weird dressing mirror. Type, special item. Rating, epic. Quality, medium purple. Star rating, intermediate. Features, dressing, summoning, error 6 unknown. Note, 1. A dressing mirror that has been completely contaminated by a strange, forbidden power can infect everything around it without anyone noticing. Tip 2. Even if it is far away, this item can break the limitation of space and attract the owner of the dressing mirror to peek. This mirror is actually an epic creation. However, its owner is called a strange taboo by the system. This title is very impressive, and it sounds like someone who is not someone to be trifled with. It's an ominous thing. I'd better not use this mirror. Just take the remaining pages of the Book of the Dead and return home immediately. This trip will be considered a complete success. Make up your mind. Su Lin jumped onto the stage with brisk steps. He stretched out his hand, and his fingertips lightly touched the remaining pages of the Book of the Dead, then put it into the storage bracelet. But at this moment, strange rays of light suddenly appeared on the dressing mirror. The light is like the surging surface of water. In the dim light, a ghost figure seemed to appear. He looked like he had just woken up, and Su Lin actually heard a sound similar to a woman's yawn in his ear, wakened by the ominous ringing of the alarm clock just now. Because of taking away the remaining pages of the Book of the Dead, the strange power of the dressing mirror lost its balance, and this incident awakened him. His long hair, like a slender, poisonous snake, covered his face, making it impossible to see his true appearance. Countless silk threads floated on the mirror, flickering in the light and shadow, forming a terrifying picture. In the center of the stage, strange patterns appeared out of thin air. Like an ancient and bizarre mark, it exudes a strong sense of threat. It also looks like a pattern of some kind of summons. Hiss, 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 tilde, tilde, tilde. The fine hair in the mirror twisted like a living snake, slowly stretching out and actually passing through the mirror. Oh no! At this moment, Su Lin secretly thought that something was wrong. As this strange change occurred, he lost control of his body. Not moving, frozen in place. The hair stretched out towards Su Lin, like silk strings controlling a puppet, making his limbs make all kinds of weird and strange movements. It seemed as if a puppet show was being performed on the stage, and Su Lin himself, played the leading role, was controlled by the ghost like a puppet. Chapter 110. The Red-Dressed Woman, the Death Oppression Across Space. All of this is beyond the comprehension of ordinary people. In the live broadcast room, the endless barrage of comments suddenly stopped. The bizarre and terrifying scene was so frightening that even the audience who had watched countless exciting scenes in the marriage game were instantly frightened. Panic, worry, it seemed like the air could freeze. Su Lin was completely controlled and couldn't perform any movements on his own. Talents, skills, weapons, etc. are all useless and must not be used. His left index finger was clearly touching the button of the ominous alarm clock, and with a little force he could set the alarm off. But even with such insignificant power, he couldn't do it. It's like the soul is contained in an unknown container, able to only see and hear but unable to do anything. A bolt of lightning suddenly struck, illuminating the darkness on the stage. "You idiot, you still owe me a big meal." The Thunder Beast cursed. "You can die if you want, but don't die in this unlucky place. It will ruin my appetite. Make sure you have a full meal every time, and nothing must happen to you." Sophia reacted even faster, and the light element surged to form a bow and arrow. Arrows of light were shot out with full force, and holy magic fluctuations instantly fell on the moving hair on the stage. However, the hair looks thin and fragile, but it has a toughness that is unimaginable for ordinary people. Thunder and light, the impact of two C+ level forces, only broke a few strands of hair, but it indirectly allowed Su Lin to regain some mobility. He quickly removed the bandage with his right hand and pressed the button with his left hand. At this moment, the live broadcast room was completely silent. The audience stared with bated breath, waiting for the siren that foreshadowed the storm. Ring tilde tilde tilde. At first, the sound of the bell was faint, like the buzz of a mosquito, but then it expanded into a penetrating roar. The sound of an alarm clock, like an air raid siren's, vibrated the eardrums and was extremely harsh. The audience naturally couldn't hear the sound, but it attracted everyone's attention. The frequency of vibration seems to create some kind of connection with the world. The dancing hare paused its performance and stood still in mid-air. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Su Lin broke free from the restraints of his hair. The moment he jumped off the stage, the frequency of the ringing increased, and the frantic notes made his hair jump wildly. But she did not attack. Instead, she retreated into the dressing mirror. However, the crisis was not eliminated, but instead it brought about a more dangerous terror. Laugh. A playful laugh came from the mirror. The ghost in the mirror became more obvious, from blurry to clear. He has a slender figure and looks fragile, but he exudes a strong sense of oppression. She was dressed in a blood-red ancient costume, as bright as blood, almost weird. The exposed skin is so tender that it seems to be broken. Indistinctly, irregular black lines like flowing ink like tattoos crawl all over his cheeks, as if he was wearing a mask emitting black light. The face is impossible to look at directly. It's extremely beautiful and sad. Eyeballs without pupils are particularly terrifying. Once the eyes meet, it seems to awaken the most terrifying demon deep in the human heart. The hair is gathered and automatically braided on the head into a hairstyle, similar to the paugia bun worn by ancient women. The slightly hoarse whisper was like the devilish sound in troubled times. "Fuck her!" The Thunder Beast mustered up its courage and roared. "Fuck it, run for your life." Su Lin hurriedly urged Sophia and the Thunder Beast to run away, his expression more terrified than ever before. With just a casual glance, he also saw the nature of the ghost. Name Hongzhuang. Race weird. Level A. Psychic power 458,675. Talents 1000 change makeup. Ghostly hair. Dress up. Manifesting through objects. Skills, strange force field, excellent, orange. LV9, fear induction, excellent. LV9, ghostly body movement, excellent. LV8, strange puppet line, excellent. LV7, combat power assessment, intermediate. Hint, because Hongzhuang's strange body is countless spaces away from here, she can only manifest a trace of power through the dressing mirror. But just this little bit of power is enough to kill Su Lin easily. The breathtaking red-dressed ghost has revealed its terrifying true form. The breath choked in his chest, as if tens of thousands of needles were pointing at the two people and the beast. It only takes a split second to pierce the skin. A strange atmosphere filled the air, and the dressing mirror made a faint sound. His gaze was piercing and ferocious, as if it contained real murderous intent, like a cold winter wind sweeping across the sky, so strong that it numbed people. Away, like a sarcastic sneer. In an instant, the dressing mirror flew into the air, like a black hole that swallowed everything, causing the two people and one beast who were about to step into the random room to pause. Then, the terrifying suction force made them retreat continuously. Just almost, the people of Yan couldn't help shrinking. They were filled with regret and disappointment. Their hopes of escaping the predicament were shattered, and only terror and despair filled everyone's chest. Su Lin's throat was dry, and he held Sophia's hand tightly. The Thunder Beast gritted its teeth, pretending to be ferocious despite facing death. Between life and death, An intense struggle arises from the depths of the soul. But this kind of infinite power is simply difficult to resist. But at this moment, a strong shock suddenly flashed in my heart. Like a heavy bell, the system's prompt appeared before Su Lin's eyes. Random room will be refreshed soon. Countdown is 10 seconds. This was an extra layer of insurance that Su Lin added before entering the room. It actually played a role in the final life and death crisis. At this time, it is 11:59:53 at night. 7. The start time of the countdown just hits their hearts. Whether it is Su Lin and others who are experiencing it personally, or the hundreds of millions of Yan country viewers in front of the screen, like a ray of light breaking through the darkness. 5. The invisible pulling force increased, as if Hang Juangui sensed something was wrong. 3. The dressing mirror began to move rapidly towards Su Lin. 2. The mirror was close to Su Lin's cheek, and the red-made girl in the mirror stretched out her hand, trying to touch it. 1. In an instant, the system's forced transmission was activated. The figures of the two people and the beast flashed by in the wax museum in a flash, and no matter how terrifying the strange force field was, they could not stop for a moment. The impending disaster was wiped out along with space the moment they disappeared. A strong feeling of dizziness came over me. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in my familiar home, the living room of the Red Maple Villa. Well, I'm going to blanch her spicy neighbors. The Thunder Beast panted heavily and cursed. I almost died at the hands of that devil. Without 5 meals of 3-star spiritual food, no 10 meals, this is not going to work. I tell you. Sophia was also in a state of shock. The near-death experience she had just experienced was still reverberating in her mind. Are you okay? She suddenly realized that something was wrong with Su Lin. I was covered in cold sweat, breathing rapidly and shaking uncontrollably. Just because, at the moment of final forced return, he stared into the eyes of the red, made-up girl in the dressing mirror. That face covered with black lines, bloody red lips, white eyes without pupils. He cast a cold gaze at Su Lin. I already remember you. You can't escape. The voice was like a ghost from the underworld, low and cold. Then he smiled, and that smile seemed to come from the underworld, making people's backs cold and creepy. Like a blood-red curse, it pierced Su Lin's trembling heart. It seemed to be pulling him into an endless abyss of fear. Chapter 111. The Nightmare of Hell, the fear-inducing female ghost in red makeup. In the night full of blooming flowers, melodious string and bamboo music surrounds you. Similar to the Jiangnan-style alleys, bluestone and green tiles. The moonlight spread across the ground, and Su Lin was attracted by the music in the dimness. Before I knew it, I was walking along with the passing spectators. Regardless of gender, everyone had thick makeup on their face, and their eyes were filled with anticipation. Groups of people walked across the single-plank bridge and passed through the alley next to the colorful lights. Looking up, they could see the lanterns hanging on the tall branches swaying in the night breeze. The night sky was filled with colorful lanterns, and Su Lin and the bustling crowd seemed to form a silent picture. The only thing I could hear in my ears was the music of the piano. The Pear Garden was bustling with activity. Su Lin followed the crowd into the room, and his ears regained their sensitivity. The magnificent hall was filled with a constant stream of spectators, men and women, old and young, noble and ordinary people. All of them were attracted by the scene and burst into cheers. Being in the midst of the surging crowd, the sounds of bustle and cheering intertwined, as if plucking a string in the picture. The curtain behind the stage swayed gently. A famous actress came on stage to sing. Her figure was graceful, and she looked elegant and beautiful under the colorful candlelight, wearing a phoenix crown and a colorful dress. It is extremely gorgeous, with the gauze fluttering in the wind like a flower blooming in the world. For a moment, the noise of the opera house gradually faded away, and only the famous actor's soft singing could be heard, his voice sounding like the sound of nature. A lonely shadow fading away tilde pity, you all alone under the moon tilde. Looking up at the bright moon, I am no longer the same as before. I sit alone and think about the changes in the world. The cycle of time passes, life is like a dream. I call you back. When will you return? Call you back, come back. The voice was as soft as a thread, as plaintive as a tear, and the sad and moving lyrics echoed gracefully in the empty night. The sound of the music floated, deeply attracting Su Lin's attention. However, when the famous actress looked down from above and turned her head to glance back, she gave Su Lin a meaningful smile. For some reason, a chill suddenly came from my back. My dear, where are you hiding? The singing voice suddenly changed its tone. from low and sad to passionate and enthusiastic. The beautiful lady in red makeup is smiling with blood-red lips. The heart is busy dancing, the clothes are fluttering, and the enchanting voice is singing on the stage. The road is long and obstructed tilde tilde. Where can I find Lin Lang tilde tilde, have you forgotten me in this world? Tonight tilde tilde, I promise to return tilde tilde to keep my promise to my beloved. In this sea of mortals, dancing in joy. Forever tilde tilde tilde. After the song was finished, the sound faded away on the stage. The pear garden was suddenly silent, and the suffocating silence seemed to freeze the air. Suddenly, from the dark corner to the bright stage, more than 100 pairs of eyes turned to one direction, Su Lin standing in the corner. Drops of bright red tears rolled down from everyone's eyes. The strange blood stains on their cheeks stood out in the light and dark. The weeping blood flowed through the thick makeup powder. The bright red and white were grafted together, and the creepy atmosphere filled the entire opera house. Each face revealed an extremely terrifying true appearance, as if recreating a terrifying scene. On the stage, the famous actor who originally had a beautiful smile on his face. The eyes, ears, mouth, nose, and 7 other orifices flowed blood and tears like trickling streams. The white costumes were stained and replaced by a horrifying blood-red one. As she cried, her pupils disappeared along with her tears and blood. Her pretty cheeks were covered with irregular black lines, like ink scattered randomly on white paper, carrying an indelible gloom. Black hair wrapped around her head like a snake in the night. It was that horrible Taboo, the evil woman in red makeup. My dear tilde tilde. The red-dressed woman bent her body slightly, and her voice was slightly hoarse, like the noise of tearing paper. This call, like a thunderclap, echoed in Su Lin's heart. It's like a ghost calling out to you in your ear. So terrifying. Ugh. In his sleep, Su Lin was suddenly awakened from this deep shock. Muscles tense, heartbeat quickens, breaths come in heavy gasps. What's wrong? Mirabelle woke up slowly after hearing the noise. Seeing Su Lin sweating profusely and looking frightened, he was also frightened. Nightmare, she asked. Well, I dreamed about that damn red-dressed ghost. Su Lin calmed himself down and recounted the dream he had just had. It doesn't matter, it's just a dream, it's not real. Mirabelle lay on Su Lin's chest, her gentle hands resting on his slightly trembling shoulders. Don't be afraid, I'm here. Her voice was gentle, like a stream of clear water trying to pull Su Lin out of the abyss of fear. Soon after, Ellie woke up too. She held Su Lin's hand tightly with a worried look on her face and tried to comfort him. At this moment, Sophia, who was lying on the bed, suddenly laughed. Why, you're happy to see your man having a nightmare, right? Su Lin pretended to be angry and patted Sophia's buttocks. Do you believe in the family rules? Sophia was still smiling. The strange laughter was like a breeze in the middle of the night, eerie and cold. Is it really a dream? She raised her head and there were no pupils in her eyes. They were pale, empty, and deep. The smile on the corner of his mouth was even more weird. Ellie and Mirabelle also laughed along with Sophia. Looking back, I saw that the 2 girls also had no pupils in their eyes, like ghosts in the dark night, which was chilling. Through the starlight reflected from the window, the figures of the 3 women gradually became blurred. The cheeks, eyes, even the heartbeat and breathing were distorted. The originally beautiful face turned into something terrifying. Instead, there was a cold smile from the red-dressed witch. She was devouring the starlight. She was stripping away his sense of security. She was playing with his despair. The black runes on the face of the red, made-up female ghost were wriggling like worms. Her long snake-like hair was scattered and flying. Entangled Su Lin. He gave Su Lin a terrifying and strange smile. I told you you can't escape. You can't escape. It won't fall off. The sound echoed and could not stop for a long time. Su Lin's body stiffened. An endless fear surged from the bottom of his heart. It's a dream. This is a dream. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Su Lin clenched his teeth, blood flowing from the corners of his mouth. Finally, with a wow sound, a mouthful of dirty blood spurted out of his mouth. He also woke up from this nightmare. In the bedroom on the flower nest, Mirabelle, Ellie, and Sophia were sleeping peacefully, and the only sound they could hear was their even breathing. It was a little after 4 in the morning, in the darkness before dawn. The bright moon was hanging high outside the window. Su Lin calmed himself down and walked lightly, fearing to wake up his sleeping partner. Coming to the courtyard, looking at the red maple forest at the courtyard wall, the maple leaves swayed in the wind, and everything seemed so peaceful. What are you doing? The sound of the thunder beast suddenly sounded. It's okay, I'll just take a walk. Why are you strolling around and playing with horses so late at night instead of sleeping? The Thunder Beast turned over and shook its head, swearing. Hearing the familiar abuse coming from the little telegraph machine, Su Lin actually felt relieved. This time, I should be freed from the nightmare. Yeah. The Thunder Beast stood in front of Su Lin at some point. She even heard the thought that just came into his mind. Is that really the case? Take a closer look. The Thunder Beast stared and grinned. Its eyes widened, and with 2 clicks, its eyeballs rolled out of their sockets. Countless wriggling insects emerged from the ground, gnawing at the beast, then crawled all over its body, gnawing it into a skeleton in the blink of an eye. The full moon hanging high in the night sky suddenly turned as red as blood. Reflected on the rotten Thunder Beast and the black sand, it seemed as if a huge blood-red eye was staring at Su Lin in the endless darkness. Do you really think you can get away? A strange laugh rang out, carrying endless malice and cunning, breaking the silence. The red maples withered, and the walls and the ground all disappeared. Everything became strange, as if being pulled into the depths of a black hole. Su Lin looked down and saw that his limbs were entangled with fine silk threads. The end is connected to a huge shadow above the endless darkness. The mysterious woman in red makeup. She manipulated the silk thread with one hand, dancing in the darkness. Su Lin was like a puppet strung on the thread, unable to resist. Chapter 112, Cracking Method Extreme Memory Sword Dance. What are you thinking about, you idiot? In a dense rain forest, the roars of Thunder Beasts could be heard. At this time, Su Lin, Sophia, and Thunder Beast are in this random room. The enemies they faced were a group of insect creatures that were like mosquitoes, buzzing and coming one after another. Drinking mosquito. Level E+D+. Features, an insect that feeds on the spiritual fluid of the spiritual dew wind chime, and complements the spiritual plant spiritual dew wind chime. This group of insects is densely packed, and there are a lot of them. Most are E-grade, and only a few are D-grade. All the vegetation in this rainforest revolves around a strange plant. Like vines clinging to several towering trees, with blooming petals, it looks like a wind chime. Name, Linglu wind chime. Type, spiritual plant. Rating, rare. Quality, blue superior. Features, spiritual dew. The vines of the plant secrete spiritual liquid with extremely high nutritional value. It tastes delicious and can be used to refine pills. It is good for improving spiritual power. Hint, the spiritual dew wind chime and the dew-drinking mosquito have a symbiotic relationship, and it relies on swallowing D-level dew-drinking mosquitoes to enhance the nutrients of the spiritual plant. Seeing Su Lin was still in a daze, Thunder Beast couldn't help but yell, "If you keep dawdling, I'll go all out." After saying this, its body was wrapped in electric light, and it electrocuted dozens of dew-drinking mosquitoes that flew towards it. Be safe, don't rush to use your ultimate move. Sophia quickly reminded, this spiritual plant is very delicate and only eats this kind of mosquitoes. If you kill them all, this spiritual plant won't be able to survive. The wonders of nature are truly mysterious. Even if one uses the flesh and blood of a higher-level spiritual beast, one cannot keep the spiritual dew wind chime alive. This spiritual plant can only survive by drinking dew mosquitoes. Once the spiritual dew wind chime needs nutrients, the D-level dew-drinking mosquitoes will voluntarily enter the pistil, being swallowed and digested by the internal structure that is like a carnivorous plant. The wind chime-shaped flowers also make clear and pleasant sounds. At the same time, the dew mosquito will be rewarded, and the vines will begin to secrete spiritual fluid for the dew mosquito to absorb and grow, until it was promoted to D-level and became its nourishment. Su Lin, who was awakened by the shock, immediately used the restraining shackles. This skill has been upgraded to level 6. It can not only be used on a single target, but can even be used on a large area as long as the spiritual power is sufficient. Next second, the swarms of dew-drinking mosquitoes that were making trouble were all stuck in mid-air. Immediately following, Sophia waved her hands, and gentle holy light covered them, calming their restless emotions. Little guys, come home with me. The environment in my home is much better than yours. Sophia soothed them. Then he turned around and said to Su Lin, who was not far away, they won't make trouble anymore. We can remove the shackles. Collect the spiritual dew wind chimes and bring them back to your home, and plant them in the spiritual fields. This group of dew-drinking mosquitoes are really not noisy. They only move around near the spiritual dew wind chimes, which saves the trouble of watching over them. You seem to be a little bit off today, Sophia asked with concern. The Thunder Beast looked at Su Lin's dark circles and made a tusk sound. What else could it be? Most likely I was drained dry by your little bitch and I'm exhausted. But this time, Su Lin simply ignored its ridicule. Instead, he took Sophia back to the living room of his home. The Thunder Beast was left standing there in a daze, at a loss as to what to do. This guy is really a little weird today. He didn't even hit me. The Thunder Beast was incredible and felt as powerless as a punch on cotton. Not only the Thunder Beast, but even the people of Yan who witnessed all this, noticed that Su Lin was unusual today. From the time the live broadcast room opened in the morning to the time Su Lin entered the random room twice to explore, he looked dazed. Could it be that the after effects of yesterday's weird wax museum and the strange woman in red makeup incident haven't worn off yet, and she's suffering from PTSD? God, Su shouldn't be that timid, right? I see that the little telegraph machine and Sophia are both fine. People's physical conditions cannot be generalized. For example, I once peed my pants in a state of extreme fear. I'm the assistant for opening the number of random rooms. Friendly reminder, it's the second day now, and God Su has already opened 5 random rooms. He needs to open 10 more rooms in the next 5 days. Thank you, little assistant. If you hadn't reminded me, I would have almost forgotten that Su Shen was punished by the marriage game. What? You mean that red-dressed ghost girl cast some kind of curse on you? Home living room. After listening to Su Lin's description of his multiple dreams last night, the 3 women were stunned. They looked at each other, all with worry on their faces. Could it be just a simple nightmare? Ellie consoled him. Maybe yesterday's experience put too much pressure on you. Maybe you'll be fine after a while. Sophia thought for a moment. According to common sense, we have returned home. That horrible taboo is 1,000,000 miles away from us. And without the dressing mirror in the wax museum as a medium, it shouldn't affect you anymore. Not necessarily. At this time, Mirabelle spoke. The red-dressed female ghost is, after all, a powerful level ghost. According to the records of my Flower Fairy clan, once promoted to a level, the body will undergo earth-shaking changes. It is not an exaggeration to describe it as evolution. A level existence, also known as the Great Terror walking in the world. The extraordinary skills that you have mastered have incredible powers that are unimaginable to ordinary people. At this point, Mirabelle sighed. She first looked at Sophia, then her gaze fell on Su Lin. Mixed emotions. From your description, it seems that the red makeup guilty is of the outstanding level in terms of both talent and skills. Even among level players, she is extremely strong. In fact, he is much stronger than the leader of my Flower Fairy clan. The talent ceiling of the Flower Fairy clan reaches up to level A at most. The clan leader that Mirabelle mentioned is a terrifying existence of a level. She can be said to be the stabilizer of her Flower Fairy clan, even in a world full of dangers on their home ground. With the presence of an level terror, the other major hegemonic clans dare not offend the majesty of the Flower Fairy clan. So scary. Cute Ellie took a deep breath, her eyes flickering with heartbreaking worry. Hey, maybe I'm overthinking it. Mirabelle patted Su Lin's shoulder affectionately. He changed the subject and tried to divert the heavy topic. Ellie, I saw you refine that puppet again. It seems to have reached C level, right? Refers to the female swordsman puppet. The potential is at C+ level. Ellie was extremely attentive in refining her. In the past 2 days, a lot of lingering crystal dust and other materials have been added, and it has barely reached the C level. Her long silver hair was as soft as snowflakes, and her black armor with gold edges clung to her perfect body curves, making her look both strong and light. In his right hand, he held an icy long sword. The texture on the sword was flickering with a faint blue light, and the surrounding air was trembling in this cold light. Apart from the mechanical behavior that could not be concealed, there was also a gaze without any emotion in his eyes. Really like a real person, flawless. I haven't named her yet. Sophia's wings shook slightly, and she handed the naming rights to Su Lin. I want to use this method to ease his anxiety. Let's just call it sword dance. Su Lin said casually. The reference is the female swordsman puppet, and the skill awakened after promotion, extreme memory sword dance. You really know how to take advantage of others. Mirabelle joked. If the skill she mastered was called Little Flying Stick, wouldn't that be her name? After saying that, the 3 girls couldn't help laughing. The unintentional words flashed through Su Lin's mind like a bolt of lightning. He suddenly stood up, his eyes fixed on the female swordsman puppet. Check out her skill description. Extreme memory sword dance. You can remember the enemy's attack pattern in a short period of time, and use sword skills to crack and counterattack. Attack mode. Attack mode. Models. Crack. Could the nightmare curse of the red makeup ghost also be part of her attack mode? I wonder if this Jai Yi sword dance can break it. Chapter 113. The swordswoman puppet awakens her intelligence, what to do before sleeping. Although the female swordsman puppet's extreme memory sword dance skill, in theory, has the potential to break the nightmare curse of the red made-up female ghost. But there were two small problems that Su Lin needed to solve. First, dreams are illusory after all. Su Lin couldn't bring the female swordsman puppet into the dream. Second, it is the solution to the above problems. Su Lin could try to find a way to obtain the extreme memory sword dance from the female swordsman puppet. But this brings us to a new problem: how to get it. According to the rules of the marriage game, players can perform the marriage ceremony with their partners and obtain their talents and skills. The problem is, this is a puppet. Are we really going to take this path? This will open the door to a new world for you. After hearing Su Lin's guess, Mirabelle smiled sweetly. Is it so exciting? The people of Yan were also stunned. A real man doesn't mind trivial matters. As long as I can solve that damn curse, it will all be worth it. Just think of it as having an inflatable girlfriend. No, the current female swordsman, the sword-dancing lady, is no worse than the real person squinting smile. Brother Boki, damn, doesn't that mean that God Su and I have the same hobbies? Oh shit, Brother Boki is here, long time no see. There's a strange sense of camaraderie. At this time, Ellie's rabbit ears trembled slightly. Her little mouth nibbled on her green jade fingers, and her big watery eyes showed deep confusion. The female swordsman puppet that was just named Sword Dance was created by her herself. It is not an exaggeration to call them Jianwu's reborn parents. And her man, Su Lin, wanted to do with Jianwu the kind of things that only a partner could do. It feels like sending homegrown cabbage to someone else. What are you thinking about? When Su Lin saw Ellie like this, he guessed that she was having wild thoughts in her mind again. This is just a guess and may not be useful. What's more, it doesn't necessarily require a ceremony. Su Lin smiled and said, I have other ways. After saying, he took out the remaining pages of the Book of the Dead from his storage bracelet. To be exact, this is the product of the fusion of two fragments of the Book of the Dead. The scent it exudes is stronger than before. Name Book of the Dead, Fragments 210. Type Undead Magic Book. Rating Epic. Quality Purple Medium. Features Resurrection of Skeletons, Control of Undead, Spiritual Seal. Gives spiritual marks to servants, making them more spiritual, and the host can mobilize the servant's abilities for their own use. The quality was upgraded to mid-purple. The feature has an additional practical function called Spirit Seal. Although Jianwu is a puppet, he has the blessing of Spirit Crystal Dust, plus Swamp Monster Corpse, plus Spider Woman's Body. Also spiritual. However, since his spiritual power had just been awakened, he could only cooperate with the command, skill to coordinate and call upon the other 8 puppets in battle and fight flexibly. Still unable to master human-like emotions, Su Lin activated the remaining pages of the Book of the Dead, chanting obscure and complicated spells. With strange hand gestures, it seems like he is painting in mid-air. Every stroke and every line eventually formed a 6-pointed star rune pattern with a black glow. Go, Su Lin uttered softly. Under the gaze of the 3 women, the hexagram rune sank into Jianwu's brow. Next, the spiritual seal will be used as a medium to inspire the spirituality of the sword dance. This process was not easy. Su Lin's spiritual power was consumed crazily, but it did not stop. Instead, he took a few blood orchid pills to replenish his energy and stimulate its release. Time passes by. When the last bit of spiritual power was transmitted from Su Lin's body to Jianwu's eyebrows, the radiance of the hexagram spirit seal gradually disappeared. At this time, the world before Jianwu is no longer monotonous. The sounds, colors, sights were all stuffed into her newly awakened spirit. Like a newborn baby, her intelligence has just been awakened, with an obvious sense of ignorance and confusion. But the cold temperament he exudes seems like he has not yet truly mastered emotions. Only, when her gaze turned to Su Lin and A.I. Li, the indifference in her eyes diminished a lot, and there was a touch of human tenderness in her eyes. Master, madam, when you open your mouth for the first time, your words are as awkward and immature as a baby's babbling. But the intimacy and attachment in the tone could not be concealed. I gestured awkwardly, not knowing how to express myself. It forms a beautiful contrast with her cold and arrogant appearance as a female swordsman. You can talk now, that's great. Ellie expressed it much more directly than Su Lin and hugged Jianwu intimately. Although her height only reached Jianwu's chest, her expression was so gentle, like a mother doting on her child. It's done. At this time, Su Lin also received a prompt from the system. Obtain the sword dance skill, Extreme Memory Sword Dance Blue, LV1. After learning this trick, Su Lin had the confidence to deal with dreams. But it made many Yan people feel very regretful. Sugad, oh Sugad, your current behavior is similar to that of Monkey King imprisoning the 7 fairies in the Peach Garden. Instead of playing with the fairy sister, he went to steal peaches. I thought there would be one more member in Su Shen's harem. What monkey behavior? It's better to improve your skill level. It's only noon now, so there is plenty of time for Su Lin to develop. There's no way he can't stay up all night. And the most important point is that the skills of the red-made female ghost are still affecting Su Lin. Status fear-inducing. Hint 1, affected by the skill of a level weirdness red makeup. Every night at midnight, the sleepiness will make you fall into a nightmare until your will is completely destroyed by red makeup. Hint 2, duration of fear-inducing state. 0:00 p.m. 6:00 a.m. Don't you have an affinity for light magic? Sophia reminded. This means that you can learn light magic. My blessing of light may help you overcome curse skills. There is also the sage clock, Ellie said. Press it once before you go to bed and your mind will be as calm as water. I can also use the flower language technique in advance to give you a few more buffs. Mirabelle smiled and said, I just don't know if it will be useful, but it's better than nothing. The Thunder Beast raised its paw and scratched its head. Think for a moment. It grinned and said, I can wait for you to die and help you arrange your affairs after death. Don't worry, I'm a professional at digging holes. If that doesn't work, and you can't stop the attack of that ghost thing, I can use a thunderous rage on you and kill both of you. Su Lin, the 3 girls. You evil creature, you are full of rebellion. Can't wait to get the gold coins, right? Yan Country player Su Lin is holding a wedding ceremony. The trait of the rare item Yin Yang Pisces. Fu Zi Qing Yuan is triggered, and your skill Extreme Memory Sword Dance gains double experience acceleration. And just when everything is ready, time has come to night. There are still 10 minutes until midnight. Chapter 114, Nightmare, Sweet Dream, a dream with a red-dressed woman. On the eve of the nightmare, the stars are shining. Bedroom flower nest, under the soft moonlight. Sophia gathered the light in her hands with her ingenuity, condensed it into a bright light, and sprinkled it gently on Su Lin. Skill, Blessing of Light. Thanks to Su Lin's hard work in recent days, Sophia's Blessing of Light has been upgraded from blue quality to purple quality. At the bedside, Mirabelle skillfully performed the flower language technique and also upgraded it to purple quality. Surrounded by colorful petals, floating in the air, falling into her hands and scattering into starlight pollen, flying towards Su Lin. Give him a lot of positive buffs in advance. Keep working hard. Although Ellie was full of worries, when she looked at Su Lin, her eyes were full of trust and encouragement. So now, Su Lin held the Sage Clock quietly, then pressed the button. The Calm Water feature was triggered. Sage time 1 hour. Without worldly desires, Smart IQ instantly takes over. Time passes every second. 3 seconds countdown, 0 o'clock. Here it comes, Ellie couldn't help but exclaimed. A strong feeling of sleepiness gradually eroded Su Lin's consciousness. My eyelids became heavy, my breathing became even, and I quickly fell asleep. In a dream, Su Lin looked around. There was a thick fog and a strong atmosphere of deathly silence. Endless darkness, accompanied by an icy wind, whistled silently in his ears like the sighs of a wailing ghost. There was a dark wasteland beneath my feet. The sound of footsteps in the distance echoed sharply and miserably. It seems that every step will be deeply imprinted in the darkness of the abyss, sowing the seeds of terror. In a trance, a red dress appeared faintly in the deep fog ahead, swaying amid the sounds of ghosts crying and wolves howling. My dear Tilda Tilda Tilda. A voice like an opera tune emanated from her mouth. Wearing a long dress stained with blood, she looked like she had crawled out of the underworld of hell. It's a long and lonely night. Are you here to meet me in private? The sound of laughter seems to be able to bite people's hearts. But Su Lin, who was in a calm state, was indifferent and not as panicked as he was yesterday. It seems that preparation before going to bed is indeed useful. I'm privately pinching hemp. In the land of eternal night, Su Lin's swearing broke the dead silence. It was like thunder roaring in a nightmare. The red made-up female ghost was stunned at first, then stared at Su Lin teasingly. A biting chill, an endless darkness came over me. Su Lin took out the electromagnetic knife, closed his eyes slightly, and immersed his consciousness in the sharp blade. This is to use the knife as a sword, and the sword as a dance, performing the extreme memory sword dance. Status, fear-inducing. Duration, 0, 0, 0, tilde 600. Now that it is completely dependent on the skills of the red makeup female ghost, then Jai Yi sword dance can analyze the skill pattern and crack it. It is worth mentioning that this dream is very strange. It was as if it was based on some kind of rules, not as chaotic as an ordinary dream. You can't summon things that don't belong to you out of thin air. For example, just now Su Lin wanted to summon an excellent 5-star one-handed sword as a weapon. Even though this was his own dream, he couldn't control it at will. I remember the sword dance very much and started. The moment Su Lin opened his eyes, there was a flash of focused light, and he analyzed the pattern rules of the nightmare with unparalleled keen perception. He suddenly rushed forward and launched a fierce counterattack against the woman in red. The flashing of swords and the shadows of sabers drew dazzling trajectories in the foggy atmosphere. With the momentum of a dragon, every sword move seemed to carry the power to break through the darkness and dispel nightmares. The whirlwind created by the sword dance rushed towards the red-dressed female ghost like a tornado. The awe-inspiring sword intent was like a mad dragon in the sky, sweeping across the entire place. Even though she was in red makeup, she couldn't help being a little surprised. Unexpectedly, Su Lin tonight was not awakened by her fear induction, to awaken the fear deep in his heart. Instead, so calm. However, although Su Lin's attack was strong, he still couldn't do anything to the red-dressed ghost. Every fierce attack failed to destroy her. When the blade cuts through her body, it will turn into red mist and float in the air. Then it surged back like a tide, forming a complete figure once again, just like at the beginning. "Young master, are you flirting with me?" The red made-up lady was laughing jokingly. But if you observe carefully, you will find that her expression is sad, not as carefree as before. The red mist was aroused, and countless red-dressed female ghosts appeared in the dense mist. They all laughed, and their laughter was like ghosts from the underworld, trying to freeze Su Lin's consciousness and make him fall into hell. They keep changing their appearances, sometimes ugly, sometimes scary, sometimes horrific. But no matter what form Gui turned into, Su would always wave the electromagnetic knife at her. In the dream, the feeling of fatigue seemed to disappear, and I seemed to have endless energy all over my body. "Damn it," the red-dressed woman said in a mysterious voice. "I don't know what medicine this brat took wrong tonight, but he never showed any fear." In addition, a lot of light attribute buffs were added, which weakened the fear-inducing ability a lot. After all, her real body is separated from Su Lin by countless spaces. There are no weird props as a medium. It was just a curse skill cast on Su Lin when he was forced to exit the random room in the wax museum. If we fail to continue sowing the seeds of fear in Su Lin's heart, the duration of the fear induction will eventually dissipate. Buff! When Su Lin chopped off the chest of the red-dressed female ghost with a knife. This time there was fear in her eyes, and she was unable to concentrate her body like before. Huff, 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 tilde, tilde, tilde. The strange fog gradually dissipated. When he opened his eyes again, it was Su Lin's familiar home bedroom. "How's it going? Did you defeat that bad woman?" With a worried look on her face, Ellie gently held Su Lin's hand. Mirabelle and Sophia put their hands on Su Lin and patted his chest gently, trying to calm him down. There is sunlight shining outside the window. The sky seemed to be getting brighter, and the duration of fear induction seemed to be over. "Fake," Su Lin sneered inwardly. Before my eyes, a hidden prompt message suddenly appeared. Status, fear induction in progress. Time 3:45. There are still more than 2 hours to go. The woman in red makeup is a sly woman. She is just repeating her old tricks, taking advantage of Su Lin's luck and his feelings for his partner, waiting for the moment when he lets his guard down, and then using the most profound and sudden way to give Su Lin an unexpected shock. Once again, the seeds of fear were planted in him, leading Su Lin to eventually fall into the abyss. It is indeed over. Su Lin took advantage of the situation and took the 3 women in his arms and lay on the flower nest. A year's plan starts with spring. A day's plan starts with the morning. Although spring has not yet arrived, it is morning now. According to our family tradition, we should hold a day's plan. "You." The 3 women had the same expression, all of them extremely shocked. At the same time, the system's announcement suddenly sounded. Yan country player Su Lin is holding a ceremony with the strange woman Hong Zhuang. Ideology. Real world. The people of Yan who were still sleeping soundly were awakened. I turned on the live broadcast, and it was still pitch dark at night as usual. I thought it was Su Shen who was awake early and asleep late. But the companions who performed the ceremony were not the familiar Ellie, Mirabelle, and Sophia. But was it the red-dressed witch who cast a curse on him? Oh shit. Is God Su so powerful? Chapter 115 Su Lin. Hehe, you can't escape. The souls and spirits are connected. Exciting. But that's a female ghost with a full sense of fear. Wouldn't that be too difficult for Su Shen? What do you know? This kind of wonderful union of soul and heart cannot be experienced by the flesh and blood body. God is not allowed to experience it. Only those who dare to try are true dragons and dare to challenge. I lost /Zu Shen new beer emoticon pack. Okay, you're cheating on me again. Write me Bell expression pack. JPG. Sophia, do you want to eat Lu Jai's feet? Do you want to eat lychees? How can I eat lychees if you don't take me with you? Ellie, is there no one speaking up for woo-woo? Even if the live broadcast is turned off, there was no picture on the screen and no sound. But in the eyes of all the people, a shocking war is taking place in the invisible darkness. In an illusory dream. At this moment, the red-dressed woman had a mixture of emotions. Shame, anger, panic, shock. You, what are you doing to me? At this moment, she screamed. Long hair fluttering. The three women on the dream flower nest instantly merged, revealing the true form of the red-dressed female ghost. Wudong's eyes were fixed on Su Lin above. You shameless scoundrel, stop right there. The black runes carved on her face squirmed like worms, and her anger was evident. The cursing made Su Lin pause for a moment. But I wasn't scared. I just think that the face of this ghost girl in red makeup looks a little horrible. It greatly affects performance. So, Su Lin took the opportunity to turn him over. Switch combat form. You are in battle. The Blessings of Love feature of the rare item Yin Yang Pisces is triggered, and your skill, Protection of Light, gains double experience acceleration. The moment when the troops are called off, the system prompt sounded again. Congratulations to Yan country player Su Lin and the strange woman Hong Zhuang. Ideology for successfully completing the ceremony. You have acquired the skill, Fearless Heart Purple. There is no opening of Golden Wind and Jade do meet each other. Moreover, the broadcast characters have been shortened to just, the ceremony is completed, instead of the marriage ceremony is completed. Fearless Heart Purple, LV1, adds a layer of protection to the mind and spirit, protecting the clear consciousness when encountering mental attacks and being fearless. It would be great if you only had this skill. This allowed Su Lin to more or less resist the fear-inducing behavior of the evil female demon in red makeup. For example, now, even though the lady in red makeup kept changing her appearance, her image became more and more terrifying, trying to scare Su Lin away. But the latter remained indifferent and instead worked harder and harder. He even upgraded his newly acquired skill Fearless Heart to level 2. This is outrageous. The woman in red makeup finally began to panic. She turned into a ball of red mist and dissipated from the flower nest. She actually ran away. To be exact, I ran, but I couldn't escape. Thanks to the duration of the fear induction, the nightmare dream still exists. Due to this limitation, even the consciousness of the red-made woman was ultimately trapped here. You can't escape. Su Lin laughed strangely. These were the words that the red-dressed lady had said to him in the beginning. Now that the offensive and defensive positions had been reversed, it was quite ironic that he had shot himself in the foot. According to the hidden hints of the cheat code, Su Lin found the red-dressed female ghost in the red maple forest of the villa. Start fighting within 5 seconds of meeting. The Blessings of Love feature of the rare item Yin Yang Pisces is triggered, and your skill, Protection of Light, is upgraded to level 4. Your skill, Extreme Memory Sword Dance, has been upgraded to level 3. Your skill, Fearless Heart, is upgraded to level 3. As long as you are brave enough, the female ghost will be given maternity leave. It is worthy of being in a level horror taboo. By leveling up from her, your skill levels can be raised extremely quickly. It's like riding a rocket, whoosh. Tilde. The red-dressed woman disappeared again, but he did not leave, but hid in a corner of the dream space. She wanted to escape, but she couldn't. Su Lin kept staring at her, like a cheetah staring at his prey. That kind of scorching gaze made even the red-dressed ghost, with strong self-control, feel extremely uncomfortable. Even if he tried his best, it was useless against Su Lin, who had a fearless heart. Moreover, as Su Lin's skill level gradually increased, the red-made female ghost became increasingly powerless. She ran away, he chased her, and she couldn't escape even if she had wings. Stop! The moment he was pressed to the ground by Su Lin again, the ghost girl in red makeup tried to negotiate. In fact, I have no ill will towards you, my lord. I just slept for too long and was accidentally woken up by you. The general idea is that it's all misunderstanding. There is no need for us to engage in confrontation in this way. We can sit down and have a good talk. Okay, we can talk. Unexpectedly, Su Lin agreed readily. Before the lady in red makeup could breathe a sigh of relief. Su Lin, however, entered into combat with her again. But I prefer talking while doing. If you have anything to say now, just say it. I'm listening. Hang Zhuang. Haha, she really thought Su Lin was an idiot. Judging from the multiple dreams he had last night, the evil woman in red makeup clearly wanted to kill Su Lin. Now that the situation is bad, it's too late to beg for mercy. If you surrender, you should look like you surrender. Do you still want to act arrogant? You are dreaming. The situation is very good. How could Su Lin let go of this rare opportunity? No matter how the woman in red struggled, she could not escape Su Lin's clutches. She spent the rest of the time in fear. Finally, it was 6 o'clock in the morning. The time of fear induction is over. Nightmare, oh no, the beautiful dream is shattered. Su Lin wakes up. What he was met with were the three women's strange gazes. There was a mixture of confusion and amusement in his eyes. You little pervert, you had a lot of fun tonight. Mirabelle's laughter was as loud as a silver bell. How did you know? Su Lin couldn't help feeling embarrassed. We also received a notification from the system. Sophia began to make a noise. You had a bitter and resentful expression in the first half of the night, but in the second half, you kept laughing. A level horror taboo, wow, brother, you are really capable, Sophia joked. Little bunny AI Lee looked at Su Lin innocently. Well, suddenly I feel that red makeup ghost is a little pitiful. The laughter of the three girls made Su Lin blush. Amid the banter, it seemed as if the tense and depressing atmosphere of yesterday had disappeared. The air was filled with joy again. Look at the properties panel again. Player Su Lin. Subordinate, Yanhuang Civilization, Yan State. Grade C+. Psychic power 9,000. Talents, Gift of the Flower Fairy C+, Speed Talent. Shadow Chasing the Wind C+, Affinity with Light Magic C+. Skills, Flower Fairy, purple. LV4, Wave Slash, purple. LV4, Confinement Shackles, purple. LV7, Light Pattern Wings, blue. LV8, Protection of Light, blue. LV4, Extreme Memory Sword Dance, blue. LV3, Fearless Heart, purple. LV3. Charm 38. The skill levels can be greatly improved. With a fearless heart and the protection of light, the fear-inducing behavior of the red-dressed female ghost is no longer a problem to be feared. There are also Extreme Memory Sword Dance plus Sage Clock, and some flower language magic buffs. You can also practice martial arts with the red makeup girl in your dreams to improve your combat experience. There is also the ability to enter combat mode, hold a ceremony, and brush up on skill levels. Now it seems that this is not a dangerous curse crisis at all. It's clearly a huge bargain that is given for free. It's a waste not to take advantage of it. Chapter 116. Fisherman never goes empty-handed, Sleeping Forest plus Falling Nightmare. The three girls were worried about Su Lin's safety and did not sleep all night. Who could have expected this guy to be so evil? It's okay to have fun during your free time during the day. At night, even if I am in the midst of a nightmare, I am still happy. The outrageousness of it is breathtaking. Su Lin gently comforted the three girls and coaxed them to fall asleep as soon as possible. The gentle words were like a warm quilt, wrapping the three women tightly, and they soon fell asleep. The random room has been refreshed long ago. Su Lin called on the Thunder Beast and the female swordsman puppet sword dance. Prepare to explore in a group. Random room number 1, Sleeping Forest. Entering this room will cause you to fall into a deep sleep until the random room is refreshed, at which point you will be forced to exit. Random room number 2, Dangerous Scene, Deep Sea Cave. A strange cave is hidden 30,000 meters deep in the sea. Hint, level B is recommended and you need to master the water element talent skill. Random room number 3, Dangerous Scene, Ghost Theater. Dark red velvet seats are arranged neatly, broken theatrical masks are scattered on the floor, and occasional laughter and crying are used as accompaniment. The drama of the past is performed forever, but the real audience may be just you. Hint 1, the entire theater has been completely infected by strange forces. Hint 2, you can try to use the ominous alarm clock to deal with the theater ghost. However, it will awaken the powerful and strange singer B+ levels sleeping in the theater. Random room number 4. Safe scene. Fishing dream. Fishermen will never come back empty-handed. Say goodbye to the hustle and bustle of the world and immerse yourself in the tranquility of fishing. By process of elimination, room 2 and room 3 are passed. Especially room 3, the ghost theater. I just dealt with the nightmare dream of the evil lady in red makeup. Don't be contaminated by this ominous and strange existence again. Su Lin is very aware of his situation. Fear induction is, after all, a terrifying skill of the highest level. In other words, the real body of the red-made female ghost was too far away from Su Lin, or use the strange dressing mirror as a medium to transcend space. Failed to fully exert its full power. Otherwise, we really have to face it head-on, even if he maxed out the extreme memory sword dance and mastered light magic. I'm afraid that in less than a second, he would be easily killed by the evil female in red makeup. Room 3, the ghost theater, really hides a great terror. If you don't learn your lesson and continue to use the ominous alarm clock to take advantage of the situation, then even God cannot help you. Nothing that has an ominous description is good. It's best not to touch it if you can. Tilde. One man, one beast, and one puppet. Enter room 4, Fisherman's Dream. The lake, the water surface, is sparkling, and the shadows of scales are floating. The air was filled with the scent of slightly damp earth and aquatic plants. There is a small bamboo house by the lake. An old-fashioned bamboo basket was placed on the fishing shore, and an elaborate bamboo fishing rod was placed on the ground. The line is thin and tough, and the fish hook is sharp. Hint 1, operate the fishing rod and inject spiritual power into the hook as bait. Tip 2, use the vibrations on the fishing rod to sense the movements of the dream fish, and then observe the ripples on the lake and the behavior of the fish in the lake to decide when to reel in the line. Hint 3, dream fish can only be caught with a bamboo fishing rod and can only be placed in a bamboo basket. Tip 4, from the moment you pick up your fishing rod, you only have 1 hour to fish. Fuck, you finally got to a more relaxing room. Wow, this fish glows, I know it's delicious. Fuck, that fish actually has wings, it can actually fly. The thunder beast was jumping around everywhere, shouting fuck all the time. This caused Jianwu next to him to glance at it coldly. With a plop sound, the thunder beast jumped into the water to catch fish. But when its claws touched the dream fish, it disappeared like a dream bubble. Then it condensed again in a bubble not far away. It could see but couldn't touch, which made it so angry that it turned on thunder fury and started electrocuting fish. The surface of the lake made a crackling sound. The result was the same as before, and no dream fish was electrocuted at all. You silly bastard, can you be quiet for a while? I want to eat fish. This fish is not for eating. Go play somewhere else. Su Lin, with a frown on his face, put the small telegraph aside. Walk to the lake and grab your fishing rod. Time, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Start the countdown. Following the instructions, Su Lin directed his spiritual power and concentrated it on the fishhook, turning it into bait. Plop tilde. The fishhook sank to the surface of the water. At this moment, Su Lin's mind can sense the flow beneath the lake through the spiritual power on the fishing line and bait. Keep your eyes straight and wait patiently until the ripples on the lake's surface spread because of the pecking of the dream fish. A dream fish took the bait and the hook caught it. After a struggle and pulling, the line of the fishing rod suddenly became taut. It worked. He picked up the dream fish, and ripples appeared on the surface of the lake. Place it gently into the bamboo basket. Even though there is no water in the basket, it still swims, hindered by an unknown force and unable to escape from the bamboo basket. Name, Fantasy Dream Fish D. Rating, excellent. Quality, green inferior. Features, defense barrier, 200-200. Tip, after the fishing time is over, the fantasy fish will turn into an exquisite accessory. Its characteristics vary depending on the quality level of the fantasy fish. That's right, this dream fish is not edible. It is a different kind of prop, characteristic effect, similar to that of a protective jade pendant. Furthermore, this bamboo basket has a limit on the amount of fish it can hold. Once it is full, you will have to release the dream fish to make room for higher quality dream fish. Fishing requires patience and quietness. Jianwu was fine, standing quietly by the lake playing the role of guardian. Sometimes, when the fish see the beautiful scenery on the lake, they will smile sweetly. BYD Leshu is a naughty kid who just can't keep quiet. He was in a playful mood and couldn't help but leap onto the surface of the lake, creating a splash of water. It scared away a lot of dream fish. Su Lin's anger value plus 66. Pang gave it a good beating. The thunder beast then behaved itself and went to catch butterflies to relieve its boredom. It's a typical case of if you don't punish him for 3 days, he will start to tear off the tiles. The most aggressive one is not actually Sophia. It was this little telegraph machine. Fishing time, 0 minutes and 54 seconds. In the last less than a minute, Su Lin was fishing for a dream fish that was glowing blue. Blue represents rare quality. Furthermore, the blue light shining on this fish is very deep, and it has the tendency to transform into an epic purple quality. In the last 10 seconds, Su Lin successfully put the dream fish into the bamboo basket. Then the bamboo fishing rod in his hand disappeared out of thin air. All the dream fish in the frame are transformed into exquisite accessories, pendants, bracelets, necklaces, etc. Dream fish C+. Type, equipment, accessories, necklace. Rating rare. Quality, blue superior. Features, enhances the operation of lightning element magic. For me, you are such a stingy person. It's rare for you to be so generous. The Thunder Beast spat twice and spat out the butterfly in its mouth. She happily put on the necklace with a blue fish pendant and even rubbed Su Lin's trouser leg in a flattering manner. It feels like I only remember to eat and not to be beaten. Just as he was about to go home, Su Lin suddenly received a message from the system. Ding, because you caught 5 rare dream fish in the Fishing Dream event. Get the dream invitation. Use this invitation letter to replace any random room in your home with the Fishing Dream room and participate in the fishing activity again. That's right. In addition to the pendant for the Thunder Beast, Su Lin also caught 5 rare dream fish during this hour. There were 6 rare quality fish in total, but he released one because the bamboo basket had reached its limit. Just to change for a superior quality. Dream fish D+. Type, equipment, accessories, pendant. Rating, excellent. Quality, green and superior. Features, dreamfall, increases the wearer's chance of having nightmares. It is a negative buff. In the past, this terrible feature would be thrown into the trash like garbage. But for Su Lin now, wear this pendant. Enter the sleeping forest in room 1 again to deepen the dream. With the double blessing, wouldn't it be possible to meet the experienced baby red-dressed girl without having to wait until midnight? Time is money, even if the sleeping forest only lasts for 1 day. But if you can find the red-dressed female ghost to level up early, you'll be lucky. Chapter 117. Female Ghost, I need you to help me practice. Return home. Find Ellie, Mirabelle, and Sophia, and briefly tell them what had just happened. Afterwards, Su Lin showed off 4 rare-level dream fish accessories. The bracelet given to Ellie has a pattern that looks like a fat carp, and its properties are to restore physical strength and relieve fatigue. It can prevent the little rabbit from being so tired when forging. The gift given to Mirabelle was a chest chain, the characteristic of which was to increase the speed of operation of wood element magic. Sophia's is a necklace that enhances concentration and focus. Xiao Feifei has a somewhat carefree personality and likes to daydream all the time. The characteristics of this dream fish pendant are very suitable for her. At least it can ensure that she does not have any wild thoughts when refining the elixir. It's beautiful. All 3 women were fascinated by the exquisite dream fish pendant, the outline of which shone with charming light. I have one too. The Thunder Beast shook its head, and the pendant hanging around its neck seemed to be swimming freely in the ocean. At last, Su Lin looked at Jian Wu and gave her the remaining dream fish pendant, which was shaped like a ring. For me, Jian Wu was a little surprised. Well, put it on, Su Lin said. The characteristic of this ring is to enhance mental strength. You have just awakened your spiritual wisdom, so it is very suitable for you. Thank you, master. Jian Wu put the ring solemnly on his hand. His eyes moved. It seems that the 3 mistresses and the master all wear a ring, a heart-shaped ring on their hands. But the master gave me the last rare grade ornament, while he himself wore a pendant of only excellent grade. Su Lin's unintentional behavior seemed to have caused some wonderful misunderstanding to Jian Wu, who was a little confused. The lake in her heart was like a stone thrown into it, causing ripples. For a moment, Jian Wu's mind was in a state of confusion, and a strange feeling surged up in him. I looked at the time, and it was only 8 o'clock in the morning. The 3 girls who were suddenly awakened were still a little sleepy. Would you like to accompany me to the random room? Su Lin hesitated for a moment and suddenly spoke. Random room number 1 is the sleeping forest, but it has the effect of deepening sleep. Just now, Su Lin used the golden finger to check again, and confirmed that it was a safe scene, and there was no danger. "Oh, why are you willing to let us take the risk with you this time?" Mirabelle hugged Ellie and caressed her belly. Ever since the two girls became pregnant, Su Link never let them form a team and enter a random room again. "It's okay. With my current strength, I can handle some dangers. Just think of it as you guys going on an outing with me." Su Lin lightly brushed aside the matter. Although this may expose his cheat code, and the bug that can view hidden information in the marriage game. But so many days have passed, and the system has not detected or made any repairs to Su Lin himself. In order to take care of him, the three women had not slept all night, so Su Lin naturally hoped that the three women could have a good rest. Perhaps, with the unpredictable nature of the matchmaking game, Su Lin's abnormality must have been detected long ago. The game master hiding behind the scenes might be happy to see this kind of anomaly, adding some fun to the game to his weird and evil taste. As to whether it will be exposed to the billions of viewers in front of the screen, as long as Su Lin doesn't admit it, the answer is not certain. What's more, presumably, the audience has already labeled Su Lin as a cheater. It doesn't matter even if it's exposed. You have no reporting channel. The decision lies with the matchmaking game, and the system does not handle it. As long as the Emperor is not in a hurry, it will be of no use no matter how anxious the eunuchs are. Great, let's go on an adventure. Ellie was extremely excited. It had been a long time since she had been in a random room with Su Lin. Although she knew that Su Lin did this for her own good, she still felt a little bored staying at home all day. "Let's go." The Thunder Beast took the lead. Considering the gift Su Lin gave it, needless to say, it will definitely do its best in this random room. Take good care of the pregnant Ellie and Mirabelle. Yangyuo Live broadcast room. This time, it's Su Shen's entire family that's out in full force. Take a photo. I'm currently playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and this scene makes me feel like the Van der Linde gang is out in full force, slaughtering the Braithwaite family. Arthur, I have a plan, Dutch meme. Don't be such a pessimist. The ending of My Cousin 2 is not going to be good. Relax, Su Shen is not Arthur, nor is he the stupid gang leader, Dutch. It's okay. With various emotions, the family members followed Su Lin and entered random room number 1. Sleeping forest. Huge ancient trees reach straight into the sky, dense green treetops block out the sun, and crystal-clear dewdrops hang on the branches and leaves, filled with the smell of fallen leaves and the aroma of moist earth. The bright green grass swayed gently in the breeze, adding a bit of vitality to this peaceful forest. Not far away, the sound of gurgling water could be heard. Like a poem or a painting, it doesn't look like there's any danger here. Ellie looked around, full of curiosity. There was no sign of any living creature around. The deep ancient trees emit a faint glow. It reflects the faint light and emits a sleep-inducing smell. Why do I feel a little sleepy? Sophia rubbed her head and looked at Su Lin. Is it because I didn't sleep well last night because I took care of you? That's impossible. With my C+ level strength, I can go without sleep for a few days without any problems. Her eyelids grew heavy. It's this ancient tree. Mirabelle reminded. The scent it emits has a sleeping effect. As we were talking, a strong feeling of sleepiness came over me. This rich smell makes people want to find a comfortable place to lie down quietly. Ellie, Sophia, and Thunder Beast have fallen into a sweet dream. Before falling asleep, Mirabelle snuggled up to Su Lin and whispered in his ear, "Are you hiding a secret from me? You seem to have known what is inside this random room." Before she could finish her words, she fell into a deep sleep. Sword dance. At this time, Su Lin forced himself to stay awake and suddenly spoke. Protect us." After saying this, Su Lin was also infected by the sleeping aura of the ancient tree and fell into a deep sleep. In addition, Su Lin also brought a rare item, the yin-yang fish. Take it out in advance and put it aside. Only the sword dance of the puppet body is not affected by the sleeping forest. She moved Su Lin, the three women, and the Thunder Beast to a more comfortable place to lie down. Holding a long sword, he watched the surroundings vigilantly for any movement. There are no living creatures here, and it's not dangerous. It doesn't matter even if a player comes in unintentionally. Even Su Lin, who was at C+ level, couldn't withstand the power of sleeping. There are only other players at level D and E at the moment, and I'm afraid they will fall asleep as soon as they come in. Hidden hint, the dormant power of the sleeping forest is not immune to any item. Even if we take a step back, there is still the C-level sword dance guard, which is enough to handle some emergencies. At this time, As Su Lin fell asleep, the fine quality pendant on his neck suddenly flashed. Hint, you have entered a deep sleep state. The falling dream feature of the dream fish pendant is triggered, and you have fallen into a nightmare. Fear-inducing trigger. You have entered the nightmare dreamland of the evil lady in red makeup. Dream, Su Lin opened his eyes. The scene is elegant and simple, with a woman's boudoir decorated with ancient charm. Right in front of her was a bed with intricate carvings on which a woman in red makeup was lying. A layer of exquisite gauze lightly covered her body, making her look both mysterious and enchanting. She suddenly realized something and woke up with a start. Seeing Su Lin standing beside the bed, her pretty face showed a confused look in the haze. In a sleepy state, he seemed confused and at a loss. Female ghost, I need you to help me practice. With a sinister grin, Su Lin had already climbed onto the embroidered bed. Chapter 118, Sakura Country Player. Yoshino Makoto's marriage room has been refreshed. With a fearless heart, Su Lin no longer needs to add various buffs before entering the dream. Even the sage clock was not used, just to get into combat mode as soon as possible. You, how on earth did you get in? The confused female ghost was a little confused. It's not even midnight yet. How did this scoundrel get here so early? It's fine if I don't look for you. You even learned how to sneak attack. You, get out of here. Do not touch me. I warn you, if you dare to be rude to me again, I will never let you go. You, do you know what you are doing? Woo, don't come over here. Panic and fear, emotions that should not appear in a level horror, emerged one by one on the face of the red made-up woman. A strong sense of shame and anger rose from the bottom of my heart. The shock in his eyes rolled like waves. I was caught off guard by Su Lin's sudden intrusion. She trembled, struggled, and resisted, but it was of no avail. You are in battle. The blessings and destiny feature of the rare item Yin-Yang Pisces is triggered, and your various skills gain double experience and speed up. This feeling of spiritual harmony can bring out the senses to the extreme. The experience was wonderful, and just when Su Lin and the red-dressed girl met in a strange dream, they shared their thoughts and knowledge. Sleeping Forest. Like a loyal soldier, Jian Wu stood quietly by the side, protecting Su Lin's safety. His eyes never left him. I always accidentally brushed the dream fish ring on my hand. She followed suit and wore it on the ring finger of her right hand, in the same position as the other three girls. The following scene made Jian Wu somewhat confused. She saw Su Lin's expression, which was unpredictable. Various happy laughs were heard from time to time. Master, you seem very happy. Jian Wu pondered. This scene gave her a sense of déjà vu. It seems that whenever the master and the mistresses fight, they are always so happy. Her eyes were fixed on Su Lin. Move down slowly. Chinese class composition. Title, scenery on the mountain. In the mysterious valley, a solid mountain stands tall, which seems to symbolize some strong power. Because of the presence of the high, the forest is no longer quiet. At this moment, Jian Wu's thoughts were in a mess, floating in the morning mist at a loss. The mistresses who usually take care of the alpine flowers and plants have all fallen asleep. As a loyal servant, she felt that she had to fulfill her obligations even in the face of emergencies. It is her duty to help Su Lin solve his problems. At least that's what the ignorant Jian Wu thought. The majesty and grandeur of this mountain was too great for her to ignore. Like a devout believer, she couldn't help but want to worship. At this moment, Yan Guo's live broadcast room suddenly went dark, leaving the audience at a loss. I thought Su Lin was in danger and was extremely worried. Sleeping Forest. Jian Wu greeted the morning glow, slowly approached, and knelt down in front of the sacred mountain. His expression was extremely pious. The lips and teeth open, and the heart is pious and sincere. Like chanting a prayer. Like a cloud loaded with sweet rain, it twists and turns, and the rain falls suddenly, bringing moisture to the long, dry, sacred mountain. Haunting the much-praised sacred mountain, clouds and mist surround the tops of thousands of mountains. As the clouds slid down, they touched the foot of the mountain. The mountain mist is filled with water droplets in the warm light, sliding across the mountains, taking away the edges of ups and downs, nourishing the earth and ushering in the next flower season. Just like soft raindrops gently dripping on the top of the mountains, constantly eroding and washing, silently dissolving the loneliness and vitality of the mountains. Like the rain, after long-term influence and baptism, it washes away all anxiety and pressure from the inside out, returning everything to its original tranquility and harmony. What? Strange, why did they call it a day so quickly today? On the battlefield, Su Lin couldn't help feeling a little confused. In particular, he noticed that the level of extreme memory sword dance was advancing at a rather fast speed. In a blink of an eye, they all reached level 6. The improvement is much more obvious than that of other skills. Could it be that in the dream, the extreme memory sword dance was passively triggered, breaking the characteristics of the moves? "Are you done yet?" the red-dressed woman said viciously. "I thought Su Lin, who was only at C+ level, was just a soft persimmon that could be easily manipulated." Unexpectedly, the opponent's true identity was actually a terrifying beast from the ancient world. Are humans really that outrageous? It's not over yet. Su Lin entered combat mode again. For some reason, he suddenly felt particularly comfortable today. Perhaps it was because I fell into a deep sleep after falling asleep in the sleeping forest. This is all fate's arrangement, just accept it. Su Lin smiled and spoke, sounding the clarion call for attack. To put it simply, it's unlucky for you, a ghost girl, to meet me. Fate has arranged your mother's legs. Get out of here right now. Roll. Get out of here, ah. I am so happy here that I don't miss Shu tilde tilde tilde. And just when Su Lin was frantically leveling up, players from other countries have also made some progress recently. Let's talk about Albert first. Although in the incident of murdering Spider-Woman Darach, he was deprived of the right to choose his lifelong mate by the marriage game. But at least there is the help of Gaba, a member of the Slimeworm clan who has obtained good fortune. Coupled with his innate sixth sense and predictive ability, things have been going smoothly for him recently. His strength has broken through to level D, which is considered a good situation. Not long ago, I also obtained a skill book called Explanation of Talismans in a random room. For Albert, who had basically no worldly desires, learning progressed rapidly. Let's talk about the player from Sakura country, Makoto Yashino. His strength has actually reached level D+, but the upgrade process is extremely strange. He made full use of his skill-greedy desire, and finally sucked his goblin partner to death last night. Moreover, there was no punishment for the marriage game. The system identified it as a sudden accident during the intercourse between the two parties, equivalent to a stroke. This was considered a bargain for Yashino Makoto, and also made the Sakura people feel relieved. Talent, Goblin Constitution, D+. Skill, Greedy Demand, Green, LV9. Looking at his attribute panel, Yashino Makoto's mouth curled up in an evil arc, looking at the goblin who had been dead for a long time on the bed. His eyes were full of sarcasm. If the marriage room hadn't been updated yet, we would have killed you a long time ago. Yashino Makoto raised his index finger with the tip of his index finger raised, looking extremely proud. Born as a cowherd, it seems that during this period he frequently used his greedy skills, which caused some changes in his temperament. At this moment, golden light seemed to emerge in the living room of the home. That is, Yashino Makoto was slightly startled. The marriage room has been refreshed. This situation surprised Yashino Makoto very much. It also made the Sakura people excited. Okay. Yashino Makoto licked his lips and said okay 3 times in a row. It doesn't matter what your marriage partner looks like, what their race is, or what their gender is. Anyway, to Yashino Makoto, who possesses the skill of greedy demands, the other party is just a tool he needs to upgrade. But, before entering the marriage room, we have to deal with the damn goblin's corpse first. We can't let our new partner lose some of his or her impression of our family tilde. Chapter 119, Male Succubus. Sakura version big update, the anxious era. After everything is ready, with burning emotions in his heart, Yashino Makoto pushed open the door to the marriage room. With golden light flashing, he stepped into a completely different world. The surrounding area is full of purple vegetation, glowing faintly. The atmosphere has an inexplicably alluring tranquility. Yashino Makoto walked forward along the path. The plants along the way were various shades of deep purple, like stars in the dark night, emitting a subtle glow, until the matching candidate for the marriage room appeared before him. Hello. As soon as the other party saw Yashino Makoto, he greeted him warmly. My name is Zyro AI, what's your name? Zyro AI, just like her self-proclaimed name, is petite and cute. He looks only about 1.5 meters tall, but it has small black devil wings, trembling gently in the purple shadow, and the devil tail swings rhythmically in the air. Succubus. It's actually a succubus. The moment they saw Zyro AI, not only Yashino Makoto, but the entire Sakura nation was excited. In a country with a strong two-dimensional atmosphere, Otakus in Sakura country almost dream of having a little succubus to relieve their loneliness in the dead of night. I didn't expect that Yashino Makoto's luck would be so good this time. God bless the Sakura. At the same time, the system prompt appears. You have entered the marriage room and can choose to marry the succubus male, Zio AI. Now that the identity has been confirmed by the system, I can finally put my mind at ease. Etc. Male succubus. The Sakura citizens, who realized it later, were suddenly stunned. What the hell? The last goblin was a male. Why are they all of the same sex this time? This is a random event, unpredictable, maybe it's just luck. Baga Yalashai, the goblins gave me the civilized marriage rewards desire +3 and sexual appeal +1 last time. I, a man, was afraid to go out. Now they're giving me the rewards again. How can you be considered a real man, you useless otaku? I'm a social animal, and I'm harassed by my greasy boss at work all day long, and I didn't say anything. Kamai mas? Sakura language. It's okay. She's a cute little succubus after all. Don't be too rigid about gender. And Yashino-kun likes this kind of thing. You're discriminating against the LGBT community. What? Now the LGBT version of the European and American servers has been updated on our Japanese servers. In the wedding room, what really impressed Yashino Makoto was not Zio Ai's delicate face or adorable figure. Instead, it is the little love that sways along with the devil's tail. What's small, it's clearly a huge thing. This scale is difficult to fathom with the naked eye. Its existence undoubtedly brought Yashino Makoto an unprecedented pressure. Is this really something that a petite person like you can possess? Are you a succubus or a giant? Yashino Makoto swallowed. Zio AI giggled. Do you like it? Do you want to try it? He flew to Yashino Makoto, and his voice seemed to have magic, stirring Yashino Makoto's heartbeat. Zio AI can see that you like Zio AI very much, right? You are a good person, so you don't have the heart to bully Zio AI, right? Zio AI held up her little face and said pitifully, Yes, yes. There was confusion in Yashino Makoto's eyes. Being led by Zio AI's voice, it seemed that the rhythm was completely controlled by her. Good man, very nice. Zio AI seemed to have discovered some new toy and happily spun in the air. Then, he pushed Yashino Makoto down. But Zio AI is a succubus, a very bad succubus. A devilish smile appeared before my eyes. Zio AI licked her lips and smiled. Good people should be bullied by bad people. So Zio AI is going to bully you severely. The Sakura country player, Yashino Makoto, is holding a marriage ceremony with the succubus, Zio AI. The following scenes are not suitable for playback, and the system automatically blocks them. Even if I can't see the battle with my own eyes. But look at the posture of the man and the demon. Yashino Makoto could only passively take the beating. This might be a test. There are Sakura countrymen murmuring, Come on, Yashino-kun, don't let yourself be defeated by the evil succubus. Hold on, don't forget that you have Sakura blood flowing in your veins. Never give up, bastard. I'm so moved that I almost cried. What on earth is this strange, hot-blooded middle school feeling? The marriage ceremony lasted for a long time, more than an hour. When the golden wind and jade do meet, it is better than countless things in the world. Congratulations to the Sakura country player, Yashino Makoto, and the succubus Zio AI for successfully completing the marriage ceremony. You have received the following rewards. Talent, succubus constitution, C. Skills, charm and temptation, blue. Spiritual essence pill, C, x10. Sexual charm of the same type, +10. Sexual charm of the opposite type, 5. In stark contrast to her delicate appearance, Zio AI actually has C-level strength. And, during the marriage ceremony, he was not as delicate as he looked, but extremely ferocious. Even Yashino Makoto, who had rich experience in fighting the same kind of people, was badly damaged. The whole person collapsed to the ground like mud. It was as if all my strength was drained away, and I couldn't help but drool. Eyes are dull, like a broken puppet. The Sakura people don't care about Yashino Makoto at all. Looking at it from another angle, at least Yashino Makoto won't have to worry about the embarrassment of encountering a bowel movement in the future. The Sakura people only care about the rewards for civilized marriage. Because the Sakura player, Yashino Makoto, got married, the whole world celebrates and now distributes marriage rewards to the Sakura civilization. All citizens of Sakura country gain health +8, spirit +5, constitution +3, desire +17, sexual charm +4. Homogeneity, damn homogeneity again. They even added 4 points. Including the 1 point from the goblin before, the total is 5 points. What's outrageous is that the desire is exactly plus 17. Adding the previous 3 points, it's 20 points. The reaction of the Sakura citizens also changed as a result. I suddenly realized that my greasy, fat boss doesn't seem so hateful anymore. He's fat and plump, so cute. I just suddenly realized that my girlfriend's husband's son, who is in college, is very handsome. The guy who stole my girlfriend just sent me a text message to apologize. He told me that I was the one he had always loved and that he did this just to attract my attention. It's so annoying. The entire Sakura country was in chaos in an instant. The social atmosphere is moving towards some strange place faster and faster, and is sinking deeper and deeper. Became extremely anxious. Also on this day, a new player from the northern ice sand country, Goose Screw, was selected into the matchmaking game, and her name is Natasha. She is a female player. She is tall, fair-skinned, and has long, wavy hair. Because I was just selected into the game, there is a 1-day novice protection period. The home marriage room is opened. She needs to make a new partner and open a random room before midnight to complete the novice mission. Chapter 120, Ali of the Snow Ape Clan, Affinity with Ice Magic. In fact, it was long before Natasha. 2 more players from Babingsha country entered the marriage game. Unfortunately, one of them angered his partner in the bridal chamber and was killed by his partner. The other one encountered danger in the random room and died. The 2 defeats also brought 2 targeted punishments to the northern ice sand country. But fortunately, the punishment is regional in scope. In addition, the northern ice country is the country with the largest territory in the world. The land is vast and the population is sparse. The 2 regional punishments did not cause too many casualties. It's not that there aren't any female players. Natasha is not a precedent, but the focus everywhere is almost on domestic players. Coupled with the disaster penalties imposed by the system after the player's death, people in many countries are struggling for survival. I was even so desperate that I didn't even have time to watch the live broadcast of the marriage game. Even if they have the leisure to pay attention, their attention is mostly attracted by players with outstanding performances. For example, Su Lin. Every move he makes is accompanied by a strong lighting effect, attracting the attention of many people. The other players seem to be turning away from his dazzling light. In comparison, it is like green leaves setting off the flowers. At this time, Natasha's eyes wandered between the 5 doors. After hesitating for a moment, he finally decided on the bridal chamber. Choosing a partner and getting rewards is the fastest way for players to shape up, even if you are not sure of your partner's race, gender, or life form. But these are nothing compared to the threat of death. After taking a few deep breaths, Natasha stepped into the bridal chamber with a feeling of trepidation. The spectacular snowfield scenery comes into view. The continuous snow-capped mountains and the endless white canvas. The earth seems to be covered by a thin layer of silver gauze, forming a picture of an icy world. The environment is even worse than that of the North Ice Sand Country, which has a similarly cold climate. Fortunately, Natasha was wearing sweaters, down jackets, and other cold-proof clothes, so as not to be frozen into an ice sculpture. Anyone there? The snowstorm was so strong that it blocked our view. The icy cold wind cut her face like a knife, as if penetrating every inch of her skin. The freezing air bit every breath, and every time Natasha opened her mouth, the cold air she inhaled felt like it was freezing her lungs. Her voice seemed to fall apart in the cold wind. At this moment, the matchmaking game prompt appeared. You have entered the marriage room and can choose to marry the male Ali from the Snow Ape tribe. The appearance of general prompts means that your partner will show up soon. Babingsha live broadcast room. Snow apes, could it be a race of apes or something like that? Poor Natasha. What pity, it's us who are to be pitied, okay? The fate of the entire country is entrusted to one person's blind date, and we can only watch helplessly and do nothing. What's the point of you complaining other than talking nonsense? If you have the guts, go ahead and do it. Can you do it? Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself? The matchmaking game doesn't want a useless piece of trash like you. You fly upstairs, how dare you talk to me like that? Do you know who I am? I am the backbone of the thieves in law. Believe it or not, I will skin you alive. A hierarchical organization. Tusk, isn't it just a group of thieves who believe in thief's honor? I'm from the Podolsk group. If you have the guts, come to Moscow and let's have a fight. The Babingsha people, known as a fighting nation, are famous for their bad temper. Moreover, the country's criminal groups have a long and complex history, covering a wide variety of organizations. But these are just side issues. The most important thing at the moment is that Natasha's matched partner finally appeared in the matchmaking room. A cold wind blew. A tall figure emerged in the wind and snow. He is over 2 meters tall and has a sturdy build. His entire body was covered in ivory white hair, and his arms were strong and powerful, clearly highlighting his majesty. It also has a long tail that is almost like an iron whip. It was the partner matched in the marriage room, Ali from the Snow Ape tribe. "Are you Ali's?" Natasha tightened her collar and endured the cold wind that was like a knife cutting through her. Because of the system's prompt just now, she also knew the other party's name. Fortunately, although Ali has the body of a strong ape, but he has a face similar to that of an adult human male, a typical tough guy style. It's not that hard to accept. "You are beautiful." Ali was brief and to the point. Seems very satisfied with Natasha. Then he walked forward and touched Natasha's forehead. A cool feeling came over me. But strangely, Natasha didn't feel uncomfortable. On the contrary, the cold climate of the snowfield is no longer so uncomfortable. D+ level, a snow ape tribe that specializes in ice magic. Natasha quietly looked at Ali's attribute panel. Therefore, she knew that Ali had just used his skills to help her resolve the invasion of the cold air. "Will you be my wife?" Ali spoke in a muffled voice, looking very serious. The snow apes are a race that rarely come into contact with other races. Retains the most simple nature. I am consistent in my words and deeds. I don't understand the twists and turns. I like things to be simple and direct. If Natasha didn't want to, he would at most feel a little regretful and turn away without making things too difficult for her. "Yes, of course I do." The other person seems to be easy to approach, both in terms of appearance and temperament. Natasha naturally didn't want to miss this rare opportunity. Hearing this, Ali looked very happy. Then he hugged Natasha tightly. The live broadcast screen went black. After a while, the system prompt sounded. "When the golden wind and jade do meet, it is better than countless things in the world. Congratulations to the players, Natasha, from the Northern Ice Country, and Ali, from the Snow Ape tribe, for successfully completing the marriage ceremony. You have received the following rewards. Talent, Ice Magic Affinity, D+. Skill, Ice Storm Blue. Spiritual Yuan Dan, D+, X10, Charm +6. Immediately following, it is the distribution of rewards for civilized marriage. Because the player, Natasha, from the Northern Ice Sand Country, has tied the knot, the whole world is celebrating, and now we are issuing marriage rewards to the Northern Ice Sand civilization. All citizens gain Health +6, Constitution +1, Cold Resistance +10, Loyalty to Partner +5, Charm +06. Well, for a moment, the Babingsha Kingdom cheered. All are positive terms, especially its cold resistance, which makes the people of Babingsha feel that their country's icy climate is no longer so unbearable. Partner loyalty. This is a new term. It seems to have never appeared before. Could it be that the Snow Ape tribe is an extremely affectionate and loyal race? This is a good thing for Natasha. Then, the two people in the picture return home. Ali seems to be somewhat uncomfortable with the environment at home. It's not that I dislike the simplicity of the original wooden house, but because the temperature here is a bit too hot. It was very uncomfortable for him, as he was used to living in the cold, snowy fields for many years. P.S. Thanks to Ordinary Scholar for the 15,000 book coins reward. Off topic. The next plot will describe the interaction with other players, including team exploration, dungeon, quest, alliance, etc. Some new plots will be set. Also, it's the first. It's a new month. Please vote tilde. Chapter 121. Alliance Declaration, Forced Logout from Sleeping Forest. With the help of Ali from the Snow Ape tribe, the random room that needs to be opened during the novice period can be easily solved. There are also 10 D+ grade Lingyuan pills, so the improvement of strength is guaranteed. As for how to distribute it, it depends on Natasha herself. If she eats it all, she is guaranteed to be promoted all the way to D+ level. If it were given to his Snow Ape companion, Ali would be able to break through to C level. The remaining Lingyuan pills may only be enough to allow Natasha to advance to D. This situation is similar to the former Chacha in Siam. He greedily took the Ling Yuan Dan and secretly took it, which led to an attack by foggy enemies and the death of a D+ level elephant man female. It made many people sigh. Eat it all. Unexpectedly, Ali from the Snow Ape tribe was very generous about this. and didn't care about it at all. If you can reach D+ level sooner, you can learn other ice magic from me. Ali waved his hand, and the Lingyuan pill, which was overflowing with abundant spiritual power, was placed on the table, emitting a charming glow. Natasha was stunned, and it took her a long time to come back to her senses. The Lingyuan pill is also your contribution. I can't take it all for myself. That would be too selfish. This has nothing to do with selfishness. A hint of pampering flashed in the depths of Ali's eyes. It's not about empathy or self-gratification. Although we have known each other for a short time, I believe that the love between us will be as solid as the icebergs in the snowy plains of the westerly wind. Ali just smiled gently at her doubts. I'm not very good at expressing myself, but I really like the light in your eyes. I want you to look at me and not look away, just like I am looking at you now. This love talk is a bit provocative. Natasha couldn't help but blushing. There are stars of gratitude twinkling in my eyes, and my heart is full of joy and love. Unexpectedly, this rugged-looking snow ape tribe, but her heart is so delicate and gentle. What? Real world. Since the advent of the marriage game, players have been constantly sacrificing due to various accidents in the game. At the same time, it brings various disasters to the countries controlled by the players. Countries are holding meetings continuously and urgently preparing corresponding strategies. West Uju, the Vomit Alliance, recently held an important meeting. Representatives from European countries looked serious and worried. Even the surviving representatives of their own country's players were worried, because they are not sure when the crisis will come. Everything may be going smoothly today, but tomorrow the player may be killed by force majeure. Even if you become an official player and no longer open random rooms, enemies in the fog will still appear at any time. Recently, 2 more small countries were destroyed by the disaster brought about by the marriage game. No one can guarantee how many natural disasters their country can withstand. Everyone, the Speaker of the Council sighed deeply and then began to speak. The marriage game has brought unprecedented challenges and disasters to countries around the world. We must admit that this is not just a game, but also a severe test for human civilization. The opening remarks are over. Next, start discussing the details. The first thing was to declare that the alliance front was unified, and if one country was in trouble, all sides would come to its aid. Even England, which had already declared its independence, had no objection to this clause. Even a few days ago, he shamelessly joined the Vomit Alliance again. The reason lies with Albert. This guy is so useless that he can't even endure the physical pain. He also teamed up with Su Lin of Yan State to murder Spider-Woman's partner, Darechen. If Spider-Woman were still here, her C+ level strength would be enough to put England in the first tier in the gaming world. Buckingham Palace in England, from a bystander's perspective, blamed Albert and even stripped the Grey family of their titles to appease public anger. Human nature is selfish. They didn't care at all about the torture Albert himself suffered. They only care about themselves. What a great thing it is to sacrifice you, Albert, to save the happiness of the whole country. But you, Albert, made the stupidest and worst choice. At the end of the meeting, the Alliance decided to carry out comprehensive propaganda to the people of Europe in the spirit of unity and cooperation. I hope that players in Uju can overcome race, nationality, and personal stance during the game, form alliances, and cooperate to avoid unnecessary conflicts. It would be best if we could deal with unexpected dangers together, save the lives of the players, and not bring harm to the country to which they belong. Of course, it is only limited to the mainland of Uju. Other countries are not considered by the Alliance. If it weren't for the recent chaos in the United States, they would have wanted to call the United States over to strengthen their presence. Now it's better to avoid it. Then, television, newspapers, social media, all public information platforms began broadcasting the announcement of the Vomit Alliance. The momentum is huge, but it is just an appeal. There's no use getting really anxious. It also depends on the player's own choice. After all, once you enter the matchmaking game, you will be completely out of touch with reality. Who will care about your orders? But then again, more friends, more paths. Being able to form a team and form an alliance in the dangerous marriage game, at least, provides an extra layer of insurance for safety. Game world. At night, approaching midnight, Random Room Sleeping Forest is about to refresh countdown 10 seconds. The moment the system sounded, Su Lin, Ellie, Mirabelle, Sophia, and the Thunder Beast who were sleeping in the forest were all awakened. The Sleeping Forest, which is immune to the sleeping feature of any item, is ultimately no match for the supreme power of the system. 9. Ellie, what happened? It seems like we slept for a long time. 6. Sophia stretched and said, well, I slept so comfortably. I have never felt so comfortable in my life. 3. Thunder Beast, my stomach tells me that we have slept for about 16 hours. I am almost starving to death. Immediately following, the vision around me became distorted. Everyone was swept up by the golden light, and this powerful force pushed them out like a tide. Open your eyes again. I have left the sleeping forest and returned to the living room of my home. This random room seems to only have the property of sleeping. Mirabel pondered. It seemed that Su Lin had anticipated this, so he took the girls into the random room for the first time. Could it be possible that he could really see the information of random rooms? With this thought, Mirabel's doubts seemed to be resolved, just about to ask Su Lin for the details. But I found that this little pervert had fallen asleep again. I saw him wake up just now. Fear induction, Sophia reminded. It's midnight and the red-dressed ghost skills are working again. Huh, Mirabel crossed her arms and teased. This little pervert must have had a lot of fun in his dreams, right? As for Ellie, she sniffed her nose. I could sense a strange smell from Jianwu. There's something dirty. Ellie reached out and wiped the corner of Jianwu's mouth. When you look closer, it's sticky and thick. The smell also has a strong sense of déjà vu, but at the moment, I can't remember where I smelled it. Did you eat anything dirty in that forest? Ellie asked with concern. No, Jianwu lowered his eyes slightly, a little afraid to face Ellie's gaze. Madam, this is not a dirty thing. This is. Okay, it's okay. Ellie blushed slightly, took out a handkerchief and wiped the corners of Jianwu's mouth. After all, you are a puppet body, and you haven't truly merged with flesh and blood yet. I'm not sure if you can digest food like a normal person. If you eat anything you don't want to, it might cause you some trouble. Hearing Ellie's gentle tone, Jianwu pinched the corner of his clothes, feeling uneasy like a child who had done something wrong. Chapter 122, The Secret of Level A, Active Factor. Hey Zio Hongzhuang, here I come again. It's still the same scene, the same familiar formula, and the same familiar tune. The difference is that the woman in red makeup is in a very miserable state at this moment. Pale face, miserable and desperate. Her hair was disheveled, as if it had been scattered in all directions after one storm after another. It seemed to be stained with a lot of moisture similar to sweat, making the soft hair look stiff and dull. The originally dignified and noble robe has now become tattered, with torn pockets, slits on the hem, and a loose belt. All this desolation and dilapidation is just like her tired body. How sad. When I heard Su Lin's voice and saw that damn bastard coming back, her pupilless eyes, like a quagmire, suddenly became dead and desperate. It's you again. The red-dressed woman's expression changed. His cheeks were tense, and his sharp roar was filled with endless resentment and hatred, which could even shatter dreams. Can't you keep your voice down? Su Lin picked his ears. This woman's lung capacity is truly amazing. That roar just now almost deafened his ears. I am such a little bastard. I'm going to crush my grandma. You bastard, act like a human being. 8 full hours, 8 hours, 25 times without a break. Do you know how I managed to get through these 8 hours? Ugh. The woman in red makeup shook her messy hair, and a line of blood seeped from the corner of her cracked mouth. A crazy roar. Madness, despair, and madness penetrated almost every inch of her skin. She squatted on the ground, pulling at her long hair, which she was so proud of. She threw away all her elegance and manners, crying and howling like a she-wolf forced into a corner. I know you're in a hurry, but don't be in a hurry. Su Lin comforted her. Good days are still to come, and life will become sweeter and sweeter. Red-dressed woman. She stood up suddenly and let out a sharper roar. Me, I'm going to kill you, you bastard. The high notes were so high that they seemed to distort the dream space. That terrible anger seemed to be condensed into substance, making people feel extremely frightened. The whole body was covered with blood-red light. That extremely crazy face, the hateful eyes, the aggressive aura. Just like a beast in rage. Certainly. Following Su Lin's soft words, the red-dressed woman who had just taken a step suddenly stopped where she was. Skills Binding Shackles Purple LV9. How to deal with enemies with strong mobility and agility. Take control. After 16 hours of hard work, I finally managed to raise this control skill to level 9. If you go one step further, you will be promoted to excellent orange quality. Haha, stop dreaming. In the nightmare, the woman in red makeup could clearly hear Su Lin's voice and sense his inner thoughts. You are only a C+ rank. yet you still dream of getting involved in the excellence terror. The red-dressed woman had a mocking look on her face. But I'm in a dream now. Su Lin was not angry but asked. From what you said, it seems that excellent skills have certain requirements for strength level. Can you elaborate on it? Tui. The woman in red makeup spat out a mouthful of blood, which was easily avoided by Su Lin. Then, he pushed back and sprayed a big mouthful of salt soda on the face of the woman in red makeup. The other party was silenced all of a sudden. Do you dare to release this control skill? She suppressed her anger and spoke each word carefully. Sure, Su Lin said with a smile, but I have to wait for you to answer my question first. I'll answer your mother. Tui, red-dressed woman, hurry up and tell me, Su Lin urged. What are the requirements for purple skills to be promoted to outstanding orange? Seeing that the other party was still being stubborn, I remained silent. Su Lin began to breathe in and accumulate strength. Wait, let me tell you. Seeing his attitude, the woman in red immediately panicked. Tui. Unfortunately, she was a step too slow to respond. This one landed right into her open mouth. I'm going to kill you, ah. What? Then, under Su Lin's kind and extremely gentle memory recovery technique, finally, useful information was pried out from the mouth of the woman in red makeup. Level C, psychic energy value 1000 tilde 9000. Class B is 10, 000 tilde 90, 000. As for grade A, it is 10W tilde 90W. Once you break through the B level, the spiritual energy in your body will be compressed and condensed, turning into pulp. Can maximize the power of skills. Such a person can be considered a master, even in the setting of a marriage game. Excellent orange quality skills. Only a level strong people can master them. The reason why B level breaking through a level will produce earth-shaking changes. The reason is that the spiritual power is compressed to the extreme, and active factors are born in the body. This is the key to the power of a level existence. Only by giving birth to active factors can one break through to Class A and master the terrifying skills of the superior level. That is like a carp leaping over the dragon gate. Countless B+ level masters are stuck here and cannot make any progress in their entire lives. The most difficult level is to condense the active factors. He can sit in charge of a piece of heaven and earth, suppress everything within his sight, and put down any unrest. High above, they can cross the sky, and those with great power can even pass through the constraints of space and manifest themselves outside. For example, this red-dressed female ghost is like this. Her outstanding skills manifestation through objects, plus fear induction, actually crossed countless spaces and were exerted on Su Lin in the world of the marriage game over a long distance. It's unbelievable. That is to say, even if I break through to level B, the skills I can master will at most be purple quality. Su Lin couldn't help feeling a little regretful. The red-dressed woman in front of him couldn't stop twitching her mouth when she heard this. You are only C+ level, but you have mastered many purple skills. What else do you want? You know, even for B-level beings, there are still many blue quality skills. This guy is such a freak. In her heart, the red-dressed woman suddenly began to be surprised at Su Lin's growth talent. No wonder I haven't gained any experience with the binding shackles. I thought it was because we didn't fight hard enough. Su Lin suddenly realized. To be honest, the maximum level of restraint shackles are much stronger than before. Whether it is the confinement time, the casting distance, range, or the spiritual energy consumed, they have all been significantly improved. During the 16 hours in the sleeping forest, Su Lin never removed the shackles, for he was afraid that the little girl would run away when he wasn't paying attention, thus wasting his precious training time. Your skill has reached its bottleneck. There's no need to upgrade it any further. The red-dressed woman gnashed her teeth and said, Now let me go. No, you can't leave. Su Lin shook his head and patted her shoulder with a serious look on his face. Because besides the imprisonment shackles, I have other skills that I need your help to improve. Let me think about it. Sword Dance of Extreme Memory and Protection of Light have been upgraded to purple quality. There are some other skills that are still several levels away from reaching level 9. So we still have a long way to go. Su Lin used the language of flowers to summon a pool of clear water and washed the face of the woman in red makeup. Influenced by Mirabelle, he became somewhat of a germaphobe. It's dirty and affects the performance. Chapter 123, Communication with Mirabelle. A flower fairy baby is about to be born. At 6 o'clock in the morning, when the first ray of sunlight refracted in from the window, reflected in the flower nest, in the dim light of morning, Su Lin slowly woke up from his dream. The first thing to do is to check your properties panel. Player Su Lin. Subordinate, Yan Huang Civilization Yan State. Grade C+. Psychic Power 9000. Talents Gift of the Flower Fairy C+, Speed Talent. Shadow Chasing the Wind C+, Affinity with Light Magic C+. Skills Flower Fairy Purple, LV7 Wave / Purple, LV7 Confinement Shackles Purple, LV9 Light Pattern Wings Purple, LV3 Protection of Light Purple, LV5 Extreme Memory Sword Dance Purple, LV8 Fearless Heart Purple, LV7 Charm 38. Combat Power Assessment High Level. The skills have all been significantly improved and are all purple in quality. I estimate that it won't take long before everyone can reach the maximum level. But the smile on his face didn't last long before he was interrupted by Mirabelle's teasing voice. "Oh, busy man, you finally decided to let go." Mirabelle looked at Su Lin with a smile and said jokingly, "You have had so much fun these past 2 days, going into the bridal chamber every day and being the bridegroom every night. What's going on when I suddenly smell vinegar?" "Well, I'm doing this for cultivation," Su Lin said. "Practice on the bed." Mirabelle simply pressed on Su Lin. Slender fingers pinched his ears. "What a unique way of practicing." I also have a lot of gains," Su Lin said with a smile. "After all, that's the rule of the matching game. By fighting with your partner, you can improve your skill experience, which is much faster than simply practicing hard. Moreover, Su Lin discovered that once one side's strength and skill level is stronger than the other side, the more significant the improvement effect is for the weaker party. This is a good opportunity to give back to Mirabelle and try to upgrade her flower language technique to purple quality. "Oh," Mirabelle pretended to think, "I can understand. Are you taking the money you earned from the rich sponsor home to support your wife? Well, he is really a good man who cares about his family." "That's amazing, Tilda." "Su Lin, this isn't just a case of the vinegar jar overturning. It's the feeling of the entire vinegar factory exploding. There are even more powerful ones." Su Lin decided to take practical action to eliminate Mirabelle's complaints. "Mirabelle is fighting with you. The special item Yin Yang Pisces. Blessings and Destiny feature is triggered. Mirabelle's skill, Flower Fairy, gains double experience acceleration. Don't mention it. You really did learn a lot of skills from that female ghost." Mirabelle's breath is as sweet as orchid. A satisfied smile appeared on her pretty face. "There's something else you haven't told me. This sentence is the voice that comes from her heart. Can you really see inside the random room?" Mirabelle changed her position, lying on her front, and stared at Su Lin intently. "Did you guess it?" Su Lin couldn't help but be a little surprised. "After a little thought, I came to a conclusion. It must be because I took them to the sleeping forest where there was no danger to rest yesterday. So Mirabelle noticed it. This little flower fairy is quite perceptive." "That's right. There was nothing to hide about this matter." Su Lin revealed his true colors. "This is a special ability I gained after entering the game. Hear this confirmation. No wonder you always seem to have a third eye and can always pick the most advantageous random room. No wonder. Also, could you please wait a moment? We are talking about something. Please control yourself, control yourself." "Su Lin, love does not require restraint." Mirabelle snorted twice. "You learned this from that rich woman. Tusk, if you work hard, we all have something to eat." "Yes," Mirabelle suddenly asked. "With your ability, can you even see clearly the matching partners in the marriage room?" "What do you mean by our meeting? It's fate arranged by God, a marriage destined by fate, It's obviously you, little pervert, who was attracted by beauty, Hearing this, Su Lin, however, did not blush or feel nervous and said confidently, "I fell in love at first sight. Is it different from being attracted by beauty?" "Well, it seems there is no difference between the two, hey?" In the above exchanges, both of them used the same heart not to communicate. "The battle is over." Su Lin hugged Mirabelle and asked, "Where are Ellie and Sophia? Why don't I see them?" "I have things to do too," Mirabelle said. "That female puppet, Sword Dance, seems to have had some problems yesterday when she left the sleeping forest. Dr. Rabbit is checking her out. Zio Feifei went to study the blood orchid and the spirit dew wind chime. This girl seems to have discovered strange pharmacological signs. I guess she will have a lot of elixirs soon." Having said that, Mirabelle pinched Su Lin hard. "Originally, I wanted to go check out the spiritual fields after I finished talking to you. Recently, several 3-star spiritual plants are about to mature. Who would have thought that you, a guy, could only fight for an hour or two and waste my time?" Her tone sounded like a reproach, but the emotions revealed in her eyes were as if she was flirting with Su Lin. Linger for a while. Mirabelle, transformed into a water-blue dress, stood up and asked, "Is today the third day?" She was referring to the fact that Su Lin was punished by the system because of the Albert incident. "The fourth day," Su Lin corrected. "In the first 3 days, 7 random rooms were opened. If we open another 8 rooms, the mission will be completed. Although it is not certain what the penalty will be for failure to complete the task. But it's definitely not a good thing. If we attract the Red Flame's punishment, we won't have enough lives to kill." Time flies by so fast. Mirabelle gently stroked the fairy flower and seemed to be able to sense the signs of new life hidden within it. "In 9 more months, our baby will be born." Su Lin's eyes were gentle. 10 months of pregnancy is not a long time, but it is not short either. Su Lin is about to become a father, so he has to work hard to improve his strength and, more importantly, to ensure his own life and that of his partner, so that he can take responsibility for the new life that is about to be born. "Who told you that you have to wait for more than 9 months? Mirabelle turned around with a strange look on her face. Isn't it?" Su Lin was surprised. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration came to me. He seems to have fallen into a common-sense misunderstanding. After all, Mirabelle is a flower fairy, and her pregnancy cycle is different from that of human women. She held up 3 fingers. "Generally speaking, it takes about 3 months. If there is enough energy, the time will be advanced, maybe 2 months or even less than a month." Su Lin asked, "Will that have any impact on the fetus?" "Won't it?" Mirabelle rolled her eyes. "Don't always compare your weak human physique with mine." "Weak?" It seems that the lesson just now was not enough. "In that case, I'm relieved." Su Lin chuckled. "At that time, I will give you some more energy. Let our baby grow up healthily." Chapter 124. Xinghai Lake, an opportunity to break through to B-level. In this battle, the arrogant little flower fairy was finally conquered by Su Lin's profound skills. Next, it's time to get to work. Random room number 1, dangerous scene. Demonic dinner, B rank. Random room number 2, safe scene. Just an ordinary wilderness without any resources worth obtaining. Random room number 3, rolling stone tunnel. Avoid the boulders that keep rolling down the tunnel and reach the end, where you will find some good building materials. Random room number 4, Xing Yaohu. There is a C+ level water beast guarding it. Defeat it and you will get an attached Spirit Lake card, Xing Yaohu. Rare blue superior. Go to room 2 first, although you don't get anything. At least brush it up a few times. After coming out again, the number of hidden prompts has indeed changed. Time 47. Random room number 815. Then enter room 3, the rolling stone tunnel. The scene was dark with no light. As soon as Su Lin entered, he heard the sound of rolling stones. Although his vision has lost its function, Su Lin is a C+ grade after all, with excellent hearing and reaction ability. Listen carefully to the rolling sound, predict the rolling location, and dodge in time. Boom, tilde, tilde, tilde. Huge rocks brushed past and crashed into the tunnel below, creating splashes and roars. He shuttled back and forth between the tunnels, as if finding the rhythm of a dance in the pitch-black night. Slide, jump, sprint. Avoid the attack of boulders skillfully and flexibly. After passing the test of rolling stones, Su Lin finally reached the end of the tunnel. Who tilde, who tilde, who tilde. The walls at both ends of the tunnel lit up at the same time. In front of me, there was an iron box. Open it and take a look. It was not filled with gold, silver, or jewelry, but some high-quality wood. Name, meditation wood. Rating, rare. Features, concentrates the mind and calms the heart. Good for spiritual improvement. Not bad. Unfortunately, there are not many. Put it in the storage bracelet, bring it back to Ellie, and see if you can make some furniture with it. Why didn't you call me when you entered the random room? As soon as he returned home, he ran into the little thunder beast and complained dissatisfiedly. Since I came to your house, I've forbidden you from going out to play, but now you're taking risks and you don't even ask me to come with you. There was actually a hint of grievance in its tone. I clearly told it to do something, but it was reluctant to do it, like a lazy donkey grinding shit and pissing. I didn't call it today, but instead felt a strong sense of loss. The reason why the small telegraph machine was not allowed to go out was that they were worried that it would make too much noise in the fog, which would be bad if it attracted the enemy. In the random room, Su Lin has the golden finger and can still know the situation. As for the mysterious foggy area, he was not sure whether there would be any unknown risks. If a B-level existence is attracted here, the entire home might be destroyed. Find Ellie in the courtyard, give her the newly obtained meditation wood, and let her do whatever she wants according to the situation. Jian Wu actually wanted to come along, but for some reason, when she looked at Su Lin, her behavior seemed a little shy. While she was hesitating, Su Lin had already entered the random room with the Thunder Beast. I could only sigh secretly in my heart. "What are you thinking about?" Ellie's sudden words made Jian Wu a little flustered. "Madam, I didn't think about anything." "Then help me move the forging table." Ellie smiled and said, "That's great, you can help me." "Yes." What? Random room number 4, Galaxy Lake, located between the peaks and mountains. The lake water is clear and reflects the light of the stars like a mirror. Hence the name. The spiritual energy of this lake is quite abundant. The Thunder Beast uttered a sigh and stared at the shimmering surface of the lake. It then said, "I sense the presence of a demon beast. It should be hiding under the lake." "Grade C+, Su Lin added. "Do it." "Certainly. Be brief and to the point. One man and one beast, act immediately. Fly above the Star River Lake, emitting spiritual energy fluctuations." Soon the lake water surged violently. A huge fish covered with hard scales and with 2 claws rushed out brazenly, causing ripples on the lake water. Start with a restraining shackle to control. Then a wave slash was launched. The Thunder Beast that followed closely behind unleashed its fury and rushed towards the strangely shaped giant fish like an oppression from heavenly thunder. The battle between the two sides began. The Yan Country audience in the live broadcast room had no objection to this. "The market is open. I bet that this fish monster will die within half an hour." "Half an hour? You are looking down on the Zushan brand telegraph machine. It should not exceed 15 minutes at most." "Wait, look, Zyro Feifei is coming over here." At the suggestion of an audience member. "Just see." Across the starry lake, an arrow of light streaked across the sky. It landed precisely on the head of the big fish. Sophia spreads her wings and takes on the role of long-range shooter. Cooperate with Su Lin and Lei Beast. In a flash, the C+ grade fish was killed. "Aren't you busy?" Su Lin put away the electromagnetic knife, and then used the restraining shackles to drag the body of the big fish from the lake to the shore. "I just happened to have a new discovery and was just looking for you." Sophia flapped her wings slightly, flew to the ground, and stood in front of Su Lin. "I saw you enter the random room, so I followed you to take a look." After saying that, she saw Su Lin had already taken out the remaining pages of the Book of the Dead and was about to transform the fish monster into an undead creature, so she hurriedly stopped him. "Its flesh is still useful." "Cultivate blood orchids?" Su Lin asked. "Are the corpses of the 2 snake monsters used up so quickly?" Sophia shook her head. "I am preparing to use the spiritual fluid of the blood orchid and the spiritual dew wind chime to refine a new elixir. I am in need of the flesh and blood of a C+ grade monster as the main ingredient. The blood orchid is extremely delicate and requires the flesh and blood of monsters as nutrients on a daily basis. The Linglu wind chime is even more special, as it only eats high-level dew-drinking mosquitoes. The medicinal properties of the two are somewhat similar. After 2 days of experimentation, Sophia has developed a new recipe based on blood blue pill. If successful, the new elixir will be infinitely close to the C+ grade Lingyuan elixir in terms of medicinal power. Hearing this, Su Lin couldn't help but feel a little surprised. "So I hope I can break through to level B with this. Products produced by the system must be high quality. Although Lingyuan Dan has the characteristic of increasing the strength of the user and reducing spiritual power. But this is a panacea that has absolutely no hidden dangers and is guaranteed to break through the bottleneck. As long as he has a B-grade Lingyuan pill, Su Lin will definitely be able to break through to the B grade. If it is C+ grade, you can get 5 or 6 at most." Return home. The fish monster's body was given to Sophia, allowing her to try it boldly. Then, Su Lin took out the Galaxy Lake, which had turned into a card. After use, a ray of light burst out, and starlight spread out, like thousands of flowers scattered. Just like when the subordinate spiritual field first came, a piece of land was once again opened up in the paradise of home. The magnetic and electric barrier extended, surrounded, and protected it within. This tranquil and beautiful lake was moved to the homeland, next to the spiritual field. The ripples on the water are as bright as the Milky Way. The water waves gently lap the edge of the grass, flashing the light of the star elves. There are also quite a few E and D level spirit fish, shrimps, crabs, and the like. Su Lin was very satisfied with this. Take good care of it, and your family will never have to worry about seafood specialties in the future. The premise is not to be secretly eaten up and wiped out by this little telegraph machine. There's something wrong with my face. What do you mean by that look you give me? The Thunder Beast, whose secrets were exposed, immediately became furious. What about trust between humans and animals? You are questioning my character. Know my character as a beast. Chapter 125. Naming the Thunder Beast, Ellie's worries, another letter from Albert. He sternly warned the little Thunder Beast. This guy was sensible. He ran to the lightning-struck tree near the magnetic and electric barrier and lay down. Absorb the free fluctuations of lightning elements and practice. Although the monsters are powerful, their cultivation speed is extremely slow. In other words, the blood of the Thunder Beast is strong, and it has reached C+ level at a young age. This is an innate blood talent. If one wants to break through to B level, it all depends on one's own luck. Plus the restrictions of the Spirit Beast contract. The level of a Spirit Beast must never exceed that of its master. In other words, if the Thunder Beast wants to break through the realm, it depends on Su Lin's progress. At first glance, it looked like the little telegraph was at a disadvantage. In fact, it is not. The home environment is much better than the Misty Valley, where the Thunder Beast lives. Following Su Lin, not only can one have spiritual meat and plants to eat, but one will also be rewarded with elixirs from time to time. For example, the Lingyuan pill given to the Thunder Beast previously allowed its strength to reach the peak of C+ level, saving it several months of hard training. If it is still in the Misty Valley, it will only take decades of hard work to break through to the B level. Only when the rare lightning-struck wood is promoted to the epic level will there be a chance. After witnessing Su Lin's terrifying speed of improvement, Lei Beast actually believed that by following such a master, he would achieve greater success in the future. There are 4 random rooms, 3 of which were open today. There is one demon-like dinner, B rank left, automatically abandoned by Su Lin. According to the information obtained from the red-dressed woman, we know that there is a big gap between B level and C level. Spiritual energy turns into pulp, which can fully unleash the full power of the skills. Even blue-quality skills can exert great power in the hands of B-level beings. Although with all the family assets and everyone in the family, I am confident that I can pass random room number 1. But it's not necessary. Su Lin was considering taking the safest approach to improve his strength as quickly as possible. It's not worth it to fight and both sides suffer. If you make a mistake in operation, you might really become someone else's dinner. If there are more casualties, the result will be more harm than good, and it will be too late to regret. It seems that as my strength improves, the difficulty of the random rooms is also quietly increasing. Su Lin pondered. For example, before, when his strength was at E or D level, most of the monsters he encountered in the random room were between these levels. After breaking through the C level, the number of C-level monsters encountered increased. In addition, there is a certain chance that some dangerous situations will be refreshed in the 4 random rooms. For example, the sulfuric acid rain and volcano entrance that are refreshed at level E. It is almost a death situation, full of dangers. Even if you are lucky enough to escape, you will be seriously injured and have broken bones. Just like now when you are at C+ level, you will often get a random room at B level. Depends on luck. It all depends on whether the player clicks high or low. This explains the factor of opportunities and risks coexist. Su Lin was walking around his home while thinking. When I arrived at the courtyard, I happened to see Ellie, who looked very satisfied with her job. Su Lin noticed a small house next to the forging table. If I'm not mistaken, this looks a bit like a pet room. Ellie, using your meditation wood, I made it for the little Thunder Beast. Speaking of Thunder Beast, it came in a flash. It's a big deal, it's a big deal. My lightning wood, a branch of the lightning wood, was stolen. The Thunder Beast came running over in a hurry. He looked fierce, and his body was crackling with electric arcs. As soon as it got close, it suddenly stopped. His eyes fell on the wooden roof. There was a purple branch that was particularly eye-catching. It looked like an antenna inserted on it. Thunder Beast looked at Ellie in disbelief. I didn't expect that. You, little bunny with thick eyebrows and big eyes, are also following Su Lin's example and doing such sneaky things. Don't wrongly accuse a good person. As soon as Su Lin saw it like this, he knew it was up to something bad. This is the cabin that Ellie made just for you. Then, Ellie patiently explained the characteristics of the wooden house to Thunder Beast. With her C-level talent of dexterity, she used the calming wood to perfectly bring out its effect of calming the mind and increasing mental strength. Everyone knows the nature of the little telegraph. the most impetuous and cannot calm down. This meditation wood is just right for it. A branch of the tree that was struck by lightning was cut off to serve as a guide. Even if the thunder beast lies down and takes a nap inside, it will unknowingly absorb the thunder element energy from the thunder-struck wood itself. But it absorbs much faster than if it rubs against the lightning-struck wood all day. For me, the thunder beast stood there in a daze. I want to apologize and say thank you, but when the words came to my lips, I felt embarrassed. Let it swear, curse, and mock. It can do it better than anyone else. Words like thanks are a bit beyond its scope. Ellie didn't mind it. Instead, she gently stroked the thunder beast's brain. You are also a member of our family. In my heart, you are as important as my family. Listening to Ellie's words, Thunder Beast lowered his head slightly. Thank you, thank you. Ellie smiled instead. We are family, saying thank you would be too distant. Love itself is selfless giving, without asking for anything in return, isn't it? I don't quite understand. Thunder Beast was confused. If I just give and give blindly, wouldn't that be a disadvantage? You're being too stubborn by thinking like that, Ellie said softly, her eyes quietly falling on Su Lin. Then he said to the Thunder Beast seriously, in fact, love itself is also very selfish. It only gives to people who are equally worthy of being loved. Of course, you can gain a lot of advantages by playing tricks and calculating carefully. But living like that is too tiring. If there is no one in this world who you would give your all to and be willing to protect, then your life would be too pitiful. Ellie's words incorporated the deepest and most selfless love into every word. The Thunder Beast's emotions seemed to be touched. It has always been carefree and outspoken, but now there is a sparkling look in the corners of its eyes. By the way, I haven't given you a name yet, Ellie suddenly said, changing the subject. He looked at Su Lin and asked for his opinion. Lion Jianwu was given a name when he awakened his spiritual intelligence. The little Thunder Beast has been in our house for several days, and it's time for it to have a formal name. It's up to you to decide, Su Lin encouraged. For some reason, the Thunder Beast breathed a sigh of relief. Based on its understanding of Su Lin, this guy's naming skills are really poor. The naming of the sword dance is completely copied from the skills of the Jai Yi sword dance. Just to save trouble, if you give the Thunder Beast a name like Thunder Gaba, Thunder Ball, Big Thunder Horn, etc., it will be laughed at to death by others if it gets out. Ellie looked at the Thunder Beast intently and pondered for a moment. Soon an idea came to mind. Purple Thunder. How about this name? She asked expectantly. Purple Thunder, the Thunder Beast muttered to itself. It has purple fur and is good at lightning magic. This name is quite appropriate. Why, you're not satisfied, Su Lin joked. Why not call it a little telegraph machine? It suits your personality. Go to hell, Thunder Beast gnashed his teeth. Although he didn't understand the specific meaning of small telegraph machine, seeing Su Lin's behavior, he knew it was not a good word. In comparison, Xylei sounds the best. What? You're worried? The little telegraph, no. The Thunder Beast dragged the cabin away. Su Lin asked Ellie with concern. He still remembered that when he first met Ellie. She was a lively and cheerful girl who loved to play pranks. Since becoming pregnant, her temperament seems to have mellowed. Gentle, kind, considerate, caring, and able to keenly perceive the emotions of family members. That's good, it's really good. But in Su Lin's opinion, she seemed to be carrying an inexplicable pressure on her shoulders. It makes him feel very distressed. Are you worried? Ellie withdrew her gaze from the distance and admitted softly, maybe. She snuggled in Su Lin's arms and rubbed her head against his chest. Actually, I'm very timid. I'm afraid that something might happen to you one day. If that happens, wouldn't we be left alone as orphans and widows? There was a hint of mischievousness in her tone. Then Ellie raised her head and looked at Su Lin deeply. Eyes full of emotion seemed to sparkle with stars. There seemed to be some truth hidden in the joke. But I'm more afraid that I'll let you down. No matter now or in the future, I want to stand with you. If you were standing on the top of a mountain, I hope there would be a corner in your shadow where I could find a place. Her words seemed to add an invisible texture, making people feel heavy in their hearts. I just want to do my part for you and our family and be your good wife. That is my greatest wish. Her wish was simple, and in a plain yet sincere way, it deeply touched Su Lin's heart. Don't think too much. Su Lin held Ellie's hand tightly, and his tone seemed to melt the ice. I'll take care of everything. Even if the sky falls, I'll still hold it up. Such firmness echoes in every syllable. Hug Ellie affectionately and kiss her. Just when both sides were extremely moved, the system prompt sounded at a very inopportune time. Your friend Albert sent you a private message. Chapter 126, Humph, Want to Escape. Albert, is this guy still alive? Ever since they last met, Su Lin basically never paid any attention to the friends column function. Open the private message and take a look. Albert wrote a lot, apart from some words of gratitude and reminiscing about the past. The gist is, he recently got lucky in the random room and obtained a skill book called Explanation of Talismans. If you study it carefully often, you will have the basic skills. Finally, he asked nervously if Su Lin had any extra monster skins. He needed monster skins as materials for refining talismans. However, I'm short of money lately and have nothing worth trading. I hope Su Lin will treat this as an investment and defer payment. After Albert has refined the talismans, he will use some of them to repay the value of the monster skin. He wanted to use the chicken to lay eggs, but Su Lin had his eyes on his farm. Su Lin asked him, "Can I trade the explanation of talismans? I can exchange it with good things." Albert's response was somewhat awkward. Explanation of Talismans is a book of talents and skills. After learning it, it will be integrated into Albert's body just like talents and skills. It is much more practical than the forging encyclopedia that Su Lin obtained before. The knowledge is remembered in the brain, eliminating the need for learning. Recently, a new occupation entry has appeared in his attribute panel, Talisman Master, first level. The corresponding one is the talisman that can be refined at the E level. Similar to Ellie's situation, when Rabbit's dexterity talent reaches C level, he can create C-level creations, and the attribute panel also has an additional entry refining, third order. Presumably, in the matchmaking game, various career settings will be derived based on the talents of the players and their partners. Albert's attitude was quite sincere. He said that when he had time in the future, he would personally write a book on his experience in making talismans and give it to Su Lin. Don't hit someone who smiles at you. What's more, the other party's request was a piece of cake for Su Lin. The warehouse at home also stores many corpses of monsters as backup food. The skins, furs, and bones of the monsters that had been cooked before were also used as materials and piled up in the warehouse to gather ashes. There are none at the sea level. They are either transformed into seeds of life by Su Lin to nourish the spiritual field, or transformed into undead creatures, or given to Sophia for alchemy. D and E grades enough. Soon, these monster skins were sorted out by Su Lin and traded to the other party. Albert thanked him again and again. After some pleasantries, the call ended. Su Lin spent the following time with his family. Since becoming pregnant, there have been subtle changes in the moods of Ellie and Mirabel. Spiritual communication and spiritual resonance are equally important. Sophia is different. When Su Lin was chatting with her in the alchemy room, she asked quietly like a thief, "Can you get some more spider toxins? The sensory web is a bit insufficient recently." Sensory webs, toxins extracted from the spider woman's venom sacs. It has the property of enhancing the sensitivity of biological senses. Respect your partner's ideas and needs more. So he closed the door of the alchemy room. This Zyro Feifei is a typical example. No matter how many times you abuse her, she will still treat you like her first love. To this day, she still thinks about the scene under the banana tree when Mirabel whipped her with a rattan stick. If you keep thinking about it, there will be a response. Su Lin is a person who respects his partner extremely. Respect your partner's ideas and needs more. So he closed the door of the alchemy room. It was an extremely brutal match between the strong and the weak. Night. The pointer ticks away every second. Exactly midnight. Su Lin entered the dream again, as expected. Nowadays, this dream is no longer a nightmare, but Su Lin's paradise. His heaven is my hell. The woman in red makeup seemed to be suffering from some kind of stress reaction. As soon as she saw Su Lin, she felt pressured. Once upon a time, she was Su Lin's extremely terrifying nightmare. Today, she has become Su Lin's tool, a doll used to improve his skill level. "Come and fight," Su Lin said concisely. "No," the woman in red makeup refused decisively. "Time waits for no one, be obedient," Su Lin said gently. "I won't," the woman in red makeup said firmly. "It's not up to you. You are fighting, strange item yin-yang Pisces. The two ideologies cleanse and blend with each other. Fear-inducing, fearless. Weird and bright. Two completely different forces collide and entangle with each other in the dream. Fortunately, Su Lin always had the upper hand. The red-dressed woman in the dream is her true self, a conscious form born from the casting of the curse skill. She only possesses the ability to induce fear and devour spiritual will. Unfortunately, this skill was cracked by Su Lin, and she had no other means to deal with it and could only passively take the beating. Extremely frustrating. The first battle ended. Su Lin suddenly noticed that the consciousness of the woman in red seemed to become a little illusory. Her strength was fading, but he was not anxious about it. Instead, he stared at Su Lin sarcastically, with a look of relief in his eyes. It's because I'm immune to your curse, so the fear-inducing ability is gradually diminishing. Su Lin pondered. In other words, judging from the current situation, this nightmare that makes him sweat constantly will be over in a few days. Oops, this won't do. How could Su Lin let go of this rare opportunity? Isn't it just deepening the fear? That's easy. Turn off the buff skills such as Fearless Heart, Protection of Light, Sword Dance of Extreme Memory, and Flower Language. It was as if the thick armor was removed layer by layer, revealing the terrifying aura of the elf in red makeup. Her face was like a dark abyss. Pupilless eyes were filled with coldness. The pervasive evil aura and the bottomless dark power. The face of the woman in red makeup looked like a ghost to Su Lin, which was terrifying. At the same time, he continued to hypnotize himself. She is a Class A horror taboo. She can easily kill me with just a flick of her finger. She must hate me for what I did to her. My current advantage is just an illusion, a deliberate disguise on her part. Or maybe I have never woken up and have always been in the nightmare she created. She did this just to tease me, to give me despair in the end, and to make me sink into eternal damnation. There is no such thing as overcoming fear. This is just my fantasy before death. Su Lin was trembling, shaking all over, and his expression was extremely frightened. In his mind, he kept recalling all the horrific scenes, all the terrible things that frightened him and made him unwilling to face them. The fear deepens. Particles that are invisible to the naked eye flowed from Su Lin's body like dust and flowed into the body of the red made-up female ghost. That is the seed of fear. At this moment, Su Lin's state was like breaking through a dam of taboo. The torrent of fear gradually revived the declining power of the red-dressed female demon, like a howling gale in a gloomy night sky, getting stronger and stronger, as if it can tear the whole world apart. You asked for this. At this moment, the red-dressed woman grinned. Go to hell. However, also at this moment, Su Lin immediately used the restraining shackles on her. The moment to restrict the actions of the woman in red makeup. Fearless Heart start. Blessing of Light activated. Extreme Memory Sword Dance start. Flower Language buff, Agility increased. Flower Language buff, Strength boost. Flower Language buff, Mental improvement. Flower Language buff, Lasting improvement. Flower Language buff, Hardness increased. Flower Language buff. Immediately following, Su Lin laughed strangely and walked towards the woman in red makeup with a grim smile on his face. Chapter 127, Countdown to Punishment, the Spiritual Pawn Shop, Only Pawning, No Redemption. What? Su Lin woke up refreshed. Move your gaze to the flower bed. Ellie, Mirabelle, and Sophia were still fast asleep. Yesterday's conversation seemed to be very effective. It resolved the three girls' worries and they slept soundly. It is like a beautiful painting, which makes people want to stare at it but not disturb it. He kissed each of the three girls. Coming to the courtyard, the dense red maple trees were swaying their branches in the gentle breeze, casting mottled shadows. The little telegraph machine is still sleeping in, lying in the wooden house of his beloved pet. With his limbs folded and his hair fluffy, he looks like a ball of electric fur. Sleeping again, Su Lin was in a bad mood and suddenly shouted. Next second, the Thunder Beast jumped up with its fur standing on end and overturned the cabin. There was still a trace of confusion in his eyes as he was awakened. What time is it? You're still sleeping. You don't have to go to work. If I see you again, forget about getting your wages. The Thunder Beast was stunned for a long time and replied in a daze. Oh, I was wrong, I'm sorry. Then he was stunned again. He came to his senses and stared at Su Lin. No, I'm a beast, what kind of job am I? Also, when have you ever paid me? Su Lin, providing you with food and clothing, doesn't that count? Oh, that makes sense. Just as he was about to check into the random room to go to work, Su Lin suddenly stopped when he realized that the three women were about to wake up. When it comes to work, it's important to combine work and rest. The three girls have always been responsible for 3 meals a day. It seems that Su Lin has never cooked a meal for his wife. So he took the little Thunder Beast and went to the Xing Yaohu Lake to fish for some spirit fish. He also went to the spiritual field to get some spiritual dew water to use as a drink. There are also flame-tailed chicken, spirit banana, monster meat, etc. Cook for yourself. When the three girls woke up, a tempting fragrance wafted over. They came to the living room and saw the sumptuous meals on the dining table. Their eyes lit up. I didn't expect you could cook. Sophia was surprised. You've never eaten pork, but you've never seen a pig run, Su Lin said with a smile. It's time to eat. The warm breakfast is full of sweetness and touching moments. Unexpectedly, Su Lin, who is usually busy and has a lot of things to do, secretly gave them a surprise. Jianwu, come and sit down too, Ellie called. Although it is a puppet, it does not need to eat on a daily basis. But when family members get together, the sense of participation is important, and no one can be missing. Every bite of food brings a sense of happiness. The unique taste and delicious flavor make it particularly unforgettable. Cheers, Su Lin raised his glass. Cheers, X5. Wait, I have a question. Thunder Beast raised his paw. Why can't I go to the table? Su Lin, pets are not allowed at the table. This is the rule. Thunder Beast, there is a sentence that Ma Mai Pai doesn't know whether he should say it or not. However, considering that you gave me so much spiritual food this morning, I will not bother with you. But when you think about it carefully, I'm still angry. I live to eat, drink, and have fun. Why should there be so many rules for eating a meal? What the hell is this about social etiquette and toasts? I was driving like crazy and Thomas was sweeping away the rice in the bowl. Then he pounced on Su Byron and knocked him over. The others couldn't even think of escaping. He would bite them all. I eat. Fuck, is this Thunder Beast crazy? Xiaozile, calm down. The zombies have become spirits. Hurry up and cover its mouth. It's starting to bite people. They played and laughed for a long time. The happy scene made hundreds of millions of Yan people in the live broadcast room laugh. I really hope everything can be this beautiful. Time, like the sand in an hourglass, flows quietly and never stops. Time 77. Random room number 1315. This is the last day to be punished for killing Spider-Woman. My luck wasn't very good the day before yesterday and yesterday. There is only one random room worth opening. And on the last day today, Su Lin also booked a room. There are only 2 doors left. There are 3 options left before him. Random room number 1, dangerous scene. The beast is out of the cage. B level, omitted. Random room number 3, special scene plus dangerous scene. A myriad of poisons will bite your heart. After surviving the bites of tens of thousands of poisonous creatures, you will gain a body that is immune to all poisons and have a chance to gain poison element magic. Hint, if you don't have great perseverance, don't try it. Random room number 4, special scene. Ghost pawn shop. A mysterious pawn shop in a strange space where you can pawn anything you have, including your possessions, body, luck, spirit, love, and even soul to fulfill your wishes. Hint 1, there is only pawning, no redemption. Hint 2, once you make any deal with the pawn shop owner, your soul will be marked with the mark of the Phantom Pawn Shop. No matter where you are, no matter what space or world you are in, they will find you. Moreover, you will be dominated by desire step by step, and eventually pawn your own soul. Hint 3, the master behind the Phantom Pawn Shop is unspeakable. Just hearing his name will cause him to notice you, which is definitely not a good thing. Tip 4, as long as you don't make any transactions, the Phantom Pawn Shop can't do anything to you, and nothing will happen. Each of these 3 rooms has its flaws. If I had known this, I should have chosen a random room with 3 C+ grade, weirdness yesterday. Old rule, process of elimination. Let's go to room 4 to test the waters first. You stay. Su Lin called out to the Thunder Beast. What's wrong? Thunder Beast tilted its head and asked in surprise. What's the problem? Don't ask, just don't go. This is done for its own good, for fear that this guy might suddenly say something and inadvertently make a deal with the other party. Random room number 4, Ghost Pawn Shop. As night falls, the desolate wilderness seems even more lonely. A biting cold wind whistled in my ears. What caught Su Lin's eyes was an ancient building. The light and shadow from the lanterns were looming, as if ghosts were watching his soul. There was a plaque on the main door with 4 large characters, Linghuan Pawn Shop, written in a flamboyant style. There are 2 ancient door paintings on the left and right doors of the tightly closed door. Their shapes look like 2 door gods whose names I cannot remember, standing on both sides with serious expressions. After noticing Su Lin's approach, the 2 door gods suddenly came alive, moving and struggling in the door painting. It seems as if it wants to jump out of the frame and merge with the real world. The handle of the door had a ferocious green bronze beast head. It rolled its eyes, stared at Su Lin, and actually roared. The roar echoed in the night sky, shaking people to the bone. Crunch tilde tilde. Ka 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 tilde tilde. The door hinges made a creaking sound, as if the chain of time suddenly broke, and the door slowly opened in front of Su Lin. Looking at the world inside the door, it was not as deep and dark as imagined, but instead exuded a warm light. The warm yellow light rises from the darkness, like a flickering candle light, flickering in the silent night, as if relatives open the door and wait for someone to return home. The light spread across the wilderness, dispelling the surrounding darkness, and the dim starlight became colorless and tasteless in front of it. Suddenly, Su Lin felt a warm current of peace of mind spreading everywhere. All the fear and horror disappeared in the face of this light, leaving only peace and tranquility. But Su Lin knew that all this was just an illusion. Behind the beauty lies a deadly trap. This soothing temperature is like a huge spider web with only one purpose, which is to lure people in and trap them deeper and deeper. Then, Su Lin immediately turned around. Without entering the door or looking back, he stepped into the random room and returned home again. Vaguely, he seemed to hear a light exclamation from the world inside the door of the phantom pawnshop. It was a sound mixed with surprise and confusion, greed and regret. It seemed that he found Su Lin's actions unbelievable. Chapter 128, Double Instance Room, Ghost in the Ancient House. Time 77. Random room number 1415. The number of times you get +1. There is one last door left. Su Lin was hesitating between room 1 and room 3. Either face the B-level existence head-on, or endure the bites of tens of thousands of poisonous creatures. No matter which one it is very tricky. Headache. Sighed. Just when Su Lin was about to call for help. Your friend Albert sent you a private message. This guy wrote to me again. Could it be that the talisman was refined so quickly? However, his purpose was different from what Su Lin had guessed. Private chat, Albert. Mr. Su, I have created a new 2-person dungeon room. Are you interested? Copy room. Team up as a duo. While Su Lin was surprised, Albert then sent him the information of the random room. Double-player dungeon room, Ghost in the Ancient House. There is only a title and a prompt to invite friends to explore together. This is the information that Albert can see. But in Su Lin's eyes, the hidden information provided by the Golden Finger is more comprehensive. Random room number 1, double dungeon room, Ghost of the Ancient House, C rank. The old itinerant doctor, who was skilled in medical skills, was old and weak. On his deathbed, he was unwilling to accept the coming of death, so he used the methods of the Isa religion and used extremely cruel means to transform himself into a vengeful spirit. Tip: complete the plot, crack the world view, and give rating rewards based on the player's performance. If you complete the task and solve the puzzle successfully, will the system give you rewards? It is somewhat similar to the puzzle room and escape room I encountered before. C-level vengeful spirits are easier to deal with. It's just enough to complete the system's penalty times. It's a cycle of cause and effect. The cause was Albert, but the end was still Albert. But Su Lin didn't rush to answer it. Instead, he asked Albert to send the information of other random rooms. See if you can find any bargains, and see if you can use Albert's random room to find bargains when you are in a team. Random room number 2, Whispering Mine, danger level E+. The whispers that often echo in the mine will make you dizzy, but deep in the mine, there is a building strengthening stone that can improve the initial home wall. Random room number 3, Mirror Restaurant, danger level C, omitted. Random room number 4, Misty Garden, danger level D+. Shrouded in mist, the vision is blurred and it is easy for intruders to lose their way. In the mist, there is a 3-star spiritual plant hidden. As expected, I can see the random house information of the other party's home. As Su Lin expected, the difficulty setting of the random room is indeed linked to the player's strength level. Unfortunately, only Albert himself can enter these 3 random rooms. It is his own creation. The idea of intercepting the deal was abandoned. Unless Su Lin comes across the same room in his own home, he can meet him. This is the thought. Su Lin accepted Albert's invitation to form a team. I didn't call Sophia so that she could concentrate on researching the new recipe. As a spiritual animal, the small telegraph machine naturally cannot escape the fate of punching in at work. This guy is too energetic, like a husky. If he is idle for too long, he will easily destroy the house. Private chat, Albert. Mr. Su, are you ready? I'm going to enter the dungeon. Private chat, Su Lin. Let's get started. At the same time, the hundreds of millions of viewers in the live broadcast room were very interested in this double-player copy room that appeared for the first time. It even attracted many people from other countries to come and watch the fun. Su Lin, Albert, these two guys really got together. Tusk Tilda, IP, Australia. Asshole Albert, please die quickly. Seeing your ugly face makes me feel uncomfortable. IP, England. Oh, the Ngas are really ruthless. Albert is your compatriot after all, but you hate him so much as if he stole your wife. IP, Gaul. Shut up, IP, England. How dare you discriminate against the Gauls? IP, Gaul, Afro-Gallic. Little turtle, what do you think of discrimination against you? Do you think it's the old times? Nowadays, who has the time to play ZZZQ with you guys? The brutal +5 entry has disappeared from the English people. However, their social contradictions did not ease, but became more and more intense. To put it another way, sacrificing one person could allow all citizens to receive a reward worth tens of millions of pounds. As a result, before he could enjoy his life for a few days, the victim, Albert, quit. Once I return to the past, I am penniless. It is easy to go from frugality to extravagance, but it is difficult to go from extravagance to frugality. How could this huge sense of loss not drive the English people crazy? The hatred for Albert even exceeds that for any enemy in history. A little bit of rice will make you grateful, a big bit of rice will make you resentful. That's human nature. An old house is located deep in a village in the barren mountains. The surrounding environment is immersed in a lasting shadow, like a long, ill old man who seems likely to fall down at any time but stands tenaciously. Although the time in the game world is relative to the real world, the current time is around noon. But in this scene, it is night. Years of wind, frost, rain, and snow have left the exterior walls of the ancient house mottled. There was a smell of decay in the air. It comes from the old locust tree in the courtyard. I don't know how many years it has survived, but the bark is rough. The tree is rotten overall, and there are deep cracks on the trunk. A stream of mucus dripped slowly, like blood, which was creepy. The leaves have fallen, leaving only branches swaying in the wind. The deep tree hole is like an entrance to darkness. Under the moonlight, it was like a ghost that chose its prey and devoured any soul that approached. What the hell is this place? The Thunder Beast looked around. Having seen the prosperity of the Red Maple Villa, he actually felt a sense of disgust towards this ancient house. Albert and Gaba were also brought along. Ni hao, my benefactor, we meet again, Tilda. Gaba waved his antennae and greeted Su Lin enthusiastically. I heard that you want to be with us. Gaba is so happy. She also remembered that it was Su Lin who saved her life. I am very grateful for this. Mr. Su, is this your partner? Albert looked at the Thunder Beast. Su Lin, Thunder Beast, Yan Country audience. It's so funny. Albert is just messing around with the couple. He even mistook the small telegraph machine for the spare food for God Su's wife. What a wonderful misunderstanding. In fact, Albert doesn't know much about Su Shen's situation and has never met Su Shen's partner. In addition, the marriage room's random matching system makes it normal for such a misunderstanding to occur. I can understand that, but I still can't help laughing. Why don't you just take the telegraph machine as well? Unfaithful love, you're a fan of Fu Rui, right? Albert is so cute, Vanilla / hee. Brother Vanilla, don't be so outrageous. I thought you had unique tastes, but I didn't expect you to be so outrageous that you don't even pick genders, right? Go to hell with your address book. After explaining the misunderstanding, Albert also knew that the Thunder Beast named Purple Thunder was Su Lin's spiritual pet, which inevitably made him feel a little embarrassed. Just then, a cold wind blew. Passing through the hole of the old locust tree, a scary and strange sound floated out from inside, which was particularly gripping. Careful! Gaba reacted quickly and rushed to Albert and Su Lin, protecting them behind him. Something strange seemed to be happening on a thick branch at the top of the locust tree. A strange shadow floats in the moonlight, like a sack swaying in the wind. As the moonlight penetrated, they could see the shape of the shadow. A middle-aged woman was hung on a locust tree that looked like a shell. Her limbs were chopped off and her eyes were gouged out, leaving only 2 dark holes. UHUHAHOW. She was hung by rough hemp ropes, her mouth mumbling incoherently, as if she was expressing endless resentment and hatred. It can almost freeze the air and make everything around feel depressing. Even the sound of the wind seemed colder and harsher for it. Chapter 129, Plot Characters, Solon's Request. The moment I saw this hanged ghost, Su Lin and Albert received the system message at the same time. Double-player dungeon room, the ghostly ancient house. The main quest has been triggered. Unlock the world view within 5 hours. Let me. Albert took out a talisman made of monster skin from the spider's silk bag. First-level talisman, small fireball talisman. He was just about to raise his hand to attack the hanged ghost on the old locust tree. But he was suddenly stopped by Su Lin. Etc. Albert was stunned. She is not an enemy. Su Lin raised his head and looked at the ghost of a middle-aged woman hanging on a hemp rope and swaying in the wind at the top of the old locust tree. She has no intention of attacking us. How should I put it? You can think of her as an NPC in the plot. If we kill her, the mission will fail. Name, Mr. Solar. Status, Isaac's soul-refining curse, vengeful spirit. Hint 1, a poor mother was brutally tortured by her own son and eventually hanged to death on an old locust tree. Hint 2, ghost in the old house, is one of the plot characters. She is reminding you to leave this dangerous place as soon as possible. She was unable to speak because her neck was hung with a hemp rope. The desperate struggle looked creepy under the moonlight. If anyone suddenly saw this horrific scene, they would regard her as a ghost seeking revenge, just like Albert did. Due to the misunderstanding, if you attack and kill her, the mission in the copy room will fail. A very stomach-churning setting. Albert and Gaba looked at each other. A hint of doubt flashed across their expressions. But he still put away the talisman in his hand and chose to believe Su Lin. As expected, the hanged ghost really did not show any signs of attacking. The tense atmosphere eased slightly. Su Lin tried to communicate with her. For example, first untie the hemp rope that hanged her and let her